and I will get this all worked out. Okay. Okay, you should be hearing me now. Second time's a charm. Oh boy, not a good start. Hopefully this night gets better. Hello everybody, it's Brandon for the Ranty with Brandon show. It is Thursday, December 17th, 2020. It's snowing here in Michigan, but it's nice and toasty inside. Hope everybody's doing all right. Glad you can hear me now. Thank you very much. Let's say hello to everybody in chat. SE Montreal. Good now. Thanks, guys. Yeah, it's finally making some sound. Thank you very much. Bill G, Ian Adams, Where's Wally, who says likes, dislikes, doing great. Yeah, I know. Isn't it sad, Wally, that there's a bunch of people out here who come to the show just to give a thumbs down? Maybe we can get some people to do some thumbs up. Hit the thumbs up, everybody. Please take 1 second out of your day. Go up there and hit that thumbs up. Flat for life. Bill G, page 42. Ian Adams, a snowman. Hello, I can hear you. Good servant. Did I say Ian Adams? He was first tonight. And Smurfer Girl, what's up, Smurfer? I think that's about it. If I missed you, I apologize. But good to see everybody out there. Sorry about the technical issues to start off the show. I seem to be saying that a lot lately. I gotta figure out what the hell's going on. We've got a couple people in chat. Critical Think is coming in tonight to just conclude the discussion that we started the other day. He had a response to the first time we talked a couple of days ago, and we'll see what he's got to say. Just checking to make sure that I'm not blasting eardrums out. Hopefully I'm not. Okay, let's go to Discord and get the party started and see how everybody's doing over there. There we go. How are you guys doing?
G'day.
Hey, Critical Think, how you doing? Effie Evangelist is in the house. What's up?
Man, I'm having audio issues here. I don't know what's going on.
Sounds familiar. I can hear you all right though.
Oh, good. All right, I'll just leave it. I've been playing around with the settings. I'll just leave it how it is.
Okay. All right. Jimbo, what's going on, Jimbo?
Not too much. I guess you both missed the decombobulate button there, the little checkbox, you know.
Gosh, I wish it was that simple, man. It's like 5 different settings in 4 different software and on the hardware. A pain in the ass, man.
You need a decombobulate.
You gotta check the "Don't piss me off" box.
Yeah, right. Seems like
and
it
go
should
to
be
hell
simpler.
if you don't do what I want box.
I think what happened was the cat, who for some reason wants to sit on my computer, like literally on the keyboard of the computer, and knocked over this tripod I have my camera on and pulled out the cord. So I plugged it back in earlier, made sure it all worked. And then for some reason it didn't work. So anything that gets disconnected prior to the show causes a problem for some reason. So I have to restart everything. But anyway, I guess that's pretty boring.
If we can't communicate properly between 3 different places, how are we going to get to the moon?
That's a great question. Yeah, I don't think we can get to the moon.
Do you have a few tanks of oxygen nearby you? And can you enrich the environment you're in right now?
No.
And maybe light a cigarette. No, I'm kidding. The guy said, you know, how can we get to the moon? I made a joke about, you know, getting rid of him. We should wax this guy.
I'm
kidding.
Yeah.
Not that joke.
What was his name? Who said that?
Grisham, Gus Grisham.
Yeah, that's right, Gus Grissom. Yeah. Bob Dole, what's going on, Bob?
Oh, not a whole lot. Yeah, it was that guy in the capsule right before they burned up. Basically, just wondering if we can't communicate between 3 buildings, how the heck are we going to get to the moon?
He hung a lemon on the capsule.
Kind of coincidental, don't you think, that he was pushing back on the program and hung a lemon and was saying all this stuff and that got leaked to the public? and then he dies in a fire inside the cabin. I mean, God rest his soul if he's actually dead and all that's true.
I see it as a military execution. No more, no less.
I don't know. Who knows?
There are ways of killing people that you can get away with. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
There
I'll
was some
subscribe to
findings.
the official narrative.
Pretty sure there were some findings that took place, at least allegedly.
Right. So Critical Think has brought in his presentation to continue and discuss, I guess, his feedback on our earlier discussion. So, Critical, you ready? I guess we can take a look at that to start off.
I got to share my screen again. I just got to find out how to do this again. It's screen, that one. So this is the picture that started it all, but I'm not going to talk too much about that just yet, because I feel like we need to go back to basic principles and agree on some things in Euclidean space before we can actually work out what this is really showing. Now, before you can hear me all right, can you?
Yeah, you sound pretty good.
Right. Now, before I do that, I'm just going to show a little something. So this, you can see that picture with the aeroplane in it?
Sure can.
Right. So it's me in the bottom right. This is a plaque made up to commemorate my finishing my work at this place. And that's the F-111 fighter bomber, which got retired in 2011. And that missile is an AGM-142, otherwise known as Popeye. And that particular project was integrating that missile onto that aircraft. So I worked on that project, and I was working on the avionics software of the F-111. So the thing is that people don't understand that this is serious business. If we get things wrong, people will die. And so we have to be meticulous. We have to get everything right. And the thing is, we would never survive if we lied about anything. So when people say we don't know what we're talking about and we lie about things, that's a little bit ridiculous. And
would you say, just on your point, would you say that there are any secrets that our countries keep from each other, from the general population, in regards to aeronautics or defense systems, especially capabilities such as air power?
There would be many secrets. So the whole military organization works on secrets. The idea is to let your advanced techniques, hardware, software, whatever, to fall into somebody else's hands, so that it would mean that if there was a war, that you want to have an advantage over the other side. So, of course, there's secrets.
Did you have a secret security clearance when you were in the program?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
So there are likely things that you can't even tell us now, I would guess, right?
That's right.
Okay. Go ahead, continue. I just wanted to establish that.
Right. So that's why I've blanked out all the faces here. I can't reveal who those people are. I can show this picture simply because I can find this stuff on the internet. So here, this is the missile, the Popeye missile. And this here is an article about when we finished our project, they test fired this AGM-142 at Woomera. And so that was the culmination of our project when they proved that it worked by test firing it at a target.
What's the max range for that 142?
All right, I'd have to look it up. It's I think 50 nautical miles, it says here. Yep, that's what it says here. As much as
You-
50
you in
nautical
here?
miles.
Okay.
You in SA critical thing? Were you in Edinburgh or where were you?
I'm in Queensland.
Oh, okay. Rich.
So this work was done in Queensland. Right. So the thing is, I'm an engineer. I'm professional. I don't make stuff up. And for me to make stuff up, I would lose my job, and the people could die.
You don't make stuff up, but you also don't tell people everything. Because people could die either
What's
way.
that got to do with it? Yes, that's correct too.
Right.
That is correct.
So there's some
To be
information
honest,
you can't.
if you get it right, people will die as well.
Yeah, so far you haven't really
Yeah,
said
good point.
anything technical or expressed anything to prove flat or curve.
Yeah.
No,
been
that's not
achieved.
the point.
How much more do
That's
you
not
need
the
to
point of
see?
what I just said.
What was the
It's just
point?
to embellish that you couldn't be wrong, and sort of like superhero-ish if, maybe, real good men are going to die if I wasn't correct about all this. You're trying
The
to set
point
the
is,
stage for your correctness. Get to your point and the science and whatever you have to offer, not emotional
So-
blackmail.
that's a very strange thing for you to say. The whole flat Earth is based on misconceptions and the basis that people are lying. And this is just my background so that you understand a little bit about that people are not lying, right? And there are people who know more than you. And
You're
so
doing exactly
that's
what
it.
we're doing. You can't be
Okay,
lying. You're proving
so-
you're telling the truth already, so that we
This
can't
is
even
really easy,
criticize
though. This
it.
is really simple. You say it's based on people lying. So now you say they're not lying. Okay, fine. They're just wrong. There. So now what's your argument? They're just wrong. They're not lying.
Let's get
You
on
don't
with
know
let's
what's
get on with the
false. It's just-
presentation.
it just is.
I
Yeah.
just wanted to show some background.
All right, points have been made
now-
all around on that, so I agree. Let's move on.
The thing is that there was some talk about collaboration and working together on a project. If that's going to work, then I need to be able to give at least people like myself need to be able to give a chance to put forward some stuff like this here. Now, I was with this in regards to this level device here. I was told that this you cannot point a water level. Now, is that what you people think?
I think that this could be deceptive, using this water level the way that you're using it to point off into the distance. I don't really know what purpose it serves.
Absolute retardation. You can't measure the horizon from those two level things in the
Okay.
plastic tube. You're
So,
retarded and trying to get us
okay.
to believe nonsense.
Okay, thanks for your opinion. Now, has anybody used a rifle here?
Yes.
Doe.
Right,
Yes.
a rifle has a backside and a foresight. In order to aim your rifle, you line up the backside and the foresight. Now, are you trying to tell me now that when you line up your rifle, you don't know where your bullet is going to go?
No, I'm not trying to tell you that.
Well, that's you. When you look at the
Probably
water level,
depends
there's a
on how the site
backside.
is set up.
There's a backside and a foresight. Now, if you were to fire a bullet along that line of that backside and that foresight, it would go in that direction if there was no gravity. So, do you agree or disagree with that?
You have no way of determining level towards the horizon.
You have no way to
Right?
prove
It's a joke.
what it would do without without gravity, other than admitting that gravity doesn't exist, so you know exactly what it will do.
So let's just pretend for
Either
a moment
gravity
that
exists right now and it's working, and you don't know what would happen without it, or gravity doesn't exist, and that's why you can make the claim that without gravity it does this thing.
So let's just go back to where we're talking about concepts here, and we're trying to gain an understanding of these concepts. Now, if I have a backside and a foresight, and I have a magic gun that is not affected by gravity, if I were to fire that gun, would the bullet travel along that line?
I guess it would hit the
It would do
deer on the
exactly
mountain
what it
does
straight
now,
across
because
from those
gravity
two
isn't
lines.
real.
Oh, it'd be magic. Yeah, of course. Your wonderful level would
For the
hit the
sake of
deer.
progression, let's just say yes.
Yeah, let's use our
Go,
imagination here.
go ahead. Yes, if you line up the so that's the purposes of the back sight and the foresight
Yeah,
is to
that's the
line up
point.
your rifle on a target. Okay.
Right. So this water level acts the same way. It's a backsight and a foresight, except that it's level. So it points in a level direction. Is there an argument about that?
It points in a level direction
No,
if you
level
look.
between the two surfaces of water in that tube. Other than that, what are you talking about, Ricky?
So if I line up the back level and the front level, do they point level, yes or no?
Well, the
You know,
water
the
level
back
is
level
used
on
to
the gun,
create
the
a
fact
level
is-
or a horizontal line between those 2 points. So that's what you're saying is, does it create a straight line between those points? And can you draw those points off into infinity, I guess, is your supposition. Do you have evidence that you can draw a sight of water level like that and draw that line out 36 kilometers or further?
Also, the rear sight of the gun has a screw adjustment that allows you to raise and lower it above the front sight. How come? Why doesn't your water level have this adjustment? Because you couldn't
My
adjust
water,
water
because I'm not adjusting my water level for gravity. Okay,
You cannot.
the
Not
gun.
because you cannot. You're not doing it. You cannot do it.
Wait,
So
are
if
you
we
cannot
can't,
implying
the
that
rear
you're
higher
adjusting
than
your
the front.
sights on your guns for gravity and not to make sure that it's firing because of the way that the gun is constructed and where the bullet will go, leaving the barrel?
let's go back a little bit of a step and just let's assume you've calibrated your gun, your foresight and your backsight, and you know that when you fire the bullet, it's going to end up where they point. Is that fair enough to say that?
When you assume something, you make an ass of you and me. But let's assume it for fun and giggles.
So you don't use a
Forward, I
gun,
won't
otherwise
do
you
that.
would agree that that is how a gun works, yes
Agree
or
with
no?
everything you want us to agree with, and just please move forward with this. We agree with everything. Move forward.
No,
Yes,
that's
we
you either agree
Can
or you
we
don't
can we
agree.
move on, please? We get the analogy of the rifle.
Yeah, in principle, I don't have any major issue with what you're saying.
I don't either. So go
Right.
ahead.
So I'm just trying to work out here, where is the objection for this water level to be pointing in a particular line? It's this point and this point form a level line. So what's the problem with that?
It is pointing at a level line, the same elevation above sea level that the whole device is residing.
You know,
Meaning
that-
I think that
farther off
there's
in the
room for
future-
error here. If
And lots of
misalignment of your camera, what is the margin of error here between the front of that water level and the back of that water level for not lining those up perfectly? I mean, you got to admit this is not
Okay.
an exact science here, right?
Okay, I want you to put a number on it because in my experience, it's very accurate. And you people have said a water level is more accurate than a theodolite. I don't know if that's the case or not the case.
Well, hold on. How did you determine the accuracy at, say, we're talking about a 36 kilometer observation, right? How did you determine what the accuracy is at that distance?
Well, very easy.
Okay.
So at 60 meters, the device that I use is capable of plus and minus 3 millimeter adjustment.
I'm
right?
not talking about
Accuracy.
the theodolite. I'm talking about the alignment between the theodolite and the front and the back of the water level.
So I don't understand the question, right? Can you please rephrase it?
Well, yeah. I mean, this using a water level such as this is not really an exact science. There's some room for error, right? You got it up a little too high. You got it up a little too low. The camera's not exactly aligned with it. I mean, any little angle is going to result in a pretty big deviation at 36 kilometers. So I'm just asking you how you've determined the accuracy of this method at distances such as that.
So the water level itself, It's best if you fool with one. I think that when you look at your water level, right, you know if you got your camera, you see that you can tell if they're lined up or not lined up. And so that's not lined up. That's very easy to tell that's not lined. That's not lined up. So when you get to the point where they're lined up, you can see that it doesn't vary by a huge amount. I know that water level is pointing above that mountain. And is anybody going to disagree with me on that?
That's a visual. You can't disagree with that, but there's a reason for that.
Is your elevation at this location higher than that mountain?
I'm not going to go into elevations here. I'm just looking. Now, hold on. Let me do this. This is my point here, is that we're not talking about flat versus globe or anything. We're just talking about how does this device work?
Yeah, no, you asked me a question. You said, can we agree that water level is pointing to the top of that mountain or over that mountain?
And the photo,
above the top of that mountain
itself is taken from the center of the camera lens is below your tubes.
Yeah.
So why isn't the camera level with your tubes and the water level, the center of the camera, the very middle of the lens? How?
Great point. And that's what I had seen before when somebody had done some observations of how this water level interacts with the camera and the lens, is that you could change how that appeared, that alignment appeared, by simply moving your camera up and down.
I've done that test and I was unable to replicate that. What you're saying.
This is a cheat. I'm calling it out right now as an optical cheat with the camera and just bullshit to back it up. So that's where I am with this so far. Try to do better, please.
But, it comes back to the question is, how do you know that this is an accurate method at long distances? I mean, how have you validated that this method of aligning a camera with these two ends of the water level is an accurate method of looking off into the distance and determining what is a straight line from that water level?
Well, we don't have to determine what a straight line is. The water level itself determines a straight line. You take a sight between the backside and the foresight, 2 points, there's a straight line.
All right, so you don't have an answer to the question. Obviously, you can't validate that your observation here, right?
The picture was taken freehand instead of being mounted on a tripod and adjusted behind, or really at the same exact level and taken really professionally and accurately. No, this guy was trying to get the angle and view that he wanted to make it look like, oh, there's a curve and the mountain is going down behind.
Okay, so if someone were to set that up, like you said, on a tripod, the thing in the middle and everything, and it gave the exact same thing, what would be your answer then?
Well, we don't see that, so bring it on, chum.
And if I were to bring it on, will you apologize for what you just said?
Just bring it on. Don't ask for
this is descending. This is descending. I want to have a nice civil conversation. Let me interrogate this
He's
a little bit.
just accused me of cheating. Now,
just bullshitting about a photo
that
was taken with a very definite intent of deceiving.
Okay, Jimbo, you called it out.
I'm out of here.
Let's walk through this, please.
Now, any more of that, and I'm wasting my time here. This is a genuine attempt to try to get people on common ground about what's level and what's not level.
Okay. Yeah, and I get that. I'm sorry, I'm jumping in. I can relate to the criticism that Critical Think is getting from Jimbo right now, because I've been accused of those things as well, right? So I know what I did, I know what I didn't do, and to be accused of that, it's hard not to take that personal. So I get that. Critical Think, the only thing that I would say right now is that I don't have any reason to distrust what you've put out there, but I want you to perhaps be open to the fact that your one observation is not a nail in the coffin, right? There are variables in other
You're roboting.
situations that demonstrate something to the contrary. Okay, all right, I said enough.
Right. So, so if there's no agreement that a water level can point to level, there's not much else place to go. But I'll continue. Now this particular auto level that I've set up here too. Where's my thing through there? The auto level, all right. The crosshair is not vertical. That's a mistake I made. But I calibrated it on the crosshair at the center. Now, the auto level, which was independently calibrated to measure level, is pointing to the same place that the water level is pointing. Now, this is how we do things. We don't just use one thing. We check our work. So I established this level through an entirely different means, and they both agree, which is always a good sign that you're doing something right. Does anybody see a problem with that?
Is your camera, your imaging system, I assume you're just holding a camera up to the back of the theodolite or the auto level?
Yes.
And what is your method of aligning the camera in the crosshairs through the scope so that it's aligned the same time? It's not tilted down a little, it's not tilted up a little, so that your center view of your image and your lens is the exact center point of that crosshair. What is your method of controlling that variable?
The device itself is designed so that the crosshair is pointing in alignment with the device, and there is a little bit of movement that you can get by moving the camera up and down, but it's very, very small. So normally when you look through the eyepiece, that is a fairly constant position, and I can play the video that is with this, which so you see my camera moves all around, but the image stays in the same place.
But you're shooting from low, below the top third. I mean, really.
Can you just replay that one more time? I just want to take a look at that again. Okay, so your camera moves around. It does, the crosshairs do bounce around a little bit, but nothing severe.
Okay. So that's pointing level. They're both pointing level. They agree with one another. Now I want to.
How did you
this
level
is where we started.
Your auto level? How are you certain that's level?
Because I went through the calibration process, and now I'm going to have to do it again because the crosshair is not vertical, and I've got to redo it. But the published calibration process, anyway, it doesn't matter. It's in the manual. I followed the calibration process.
Describe that briefly, what that involves, the calibration process.
All right. It's basically, I've got some other stuff here. Whoops, that I was going to talk about, but
Can I ask
this here, I know this is showing water levels, but it's using a rod. You put just the same, it's differential leveling. You make a measurement on your rod either side. You take the difference between that rod. Then you move your level close to one end, and then you sight it all the way back and then to the nearest rod. The difference in elevation should be the same if it's correctly calibrated. So if it's not correctly calibrated, those two will be different because it has a tilt up or a tilt down. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay.
Can I ask a question about, if you can go back to your last picture, just about the water level and the camera? Yeah, here. Now, If you extended the distance of the tube and the water levels and had the camera behind, wouldn't that lower the horizon the farther you put the front tube, your front sight? Every
So,
foot, every
how
yard.
far are you extending out the tube?
Well, as far as we need to, for different. See what happens as it extends away from the camera.
Is this on a flat Earth or on a globe
No,
Earth
on,
you're talking?
on what you're doing right here, you can do it. And I guarantee you, if you separate farther, those two tubes, that so-called view over the mountain will descend.
Well, because the Earth is curved, of course.
No, because as you move the front sight farther away, it becomes smaller and lower.
Okay, let's get into that.
Well, that
Thank
is
you.
a
I'm
good
glad
point.
you brought
Your
that
center
up.
of your vision, your center of your frame is lower than the level of the water levels in that picture, right?
Yeah, you people are big on center of frame. It really doesn't make any difference, okay? Other than barrel distortion, if things line up in the frame, they line up. Doesn't matter if it's center or not center. Now,
Well, wait a minute.
but anyway, that would take another hour of argument, I am sure. So can we talk about the principles underlying what we're doing here? And there was just a mention of things getting smaller in
So
distance.
that is the principle we're talking about. So you just want to deflect away from it. We're still past the graveyard. But what I just asked about moving the front sight away has not been addressed.
Well, that's what I'm about to address here now, okay? I'm going to start with this diagram. All right? So, this diagram, I have my auto level. There's a stick. Let's just say it's 6 foot high or whatever. It doesn't matter. A same stick, 6 foot high, further away, and this is a flat and level surface. Now, as I move this right-hand stick further away, does the sight line go through the top of the stick, or does the top of that stick appear to go down?
What's the distance?
Let's just say you start at 10 meters and then you increase it to 100. Does the top of that stick now go down in the below the crosshairs?
Here's the problem with your drawing. It's in, what do they call it? Orthographic mode. The sizes at a distance do not change with your orthographic display here. In reality, the stick that's farther away shrinks, goes
Yes,
lower.
of course it shrinks, but in reality, it is a stick that is 6 foot high.
Size to your theodolite.
In reality, the stick is 6 foot high.
Shrinking. No, it's not. It's not 6 feet high in reality when it's X distance away from you.
So
Like,
can someone please correct him on that? Can someone?
It is always.
I don't have to be the dummy that tells him that a 6 foot stick is 6 foot. Do I? Do I have to be that
Stick
guy?
doesn't shrink, Jimbo. It doesn't shrink. It stays 6
But
feet
the
tall.
viewer, in perspective, looking at it at a distance, it is no longer 6 foot tall. True, the stick is 6 foot tall physically at a distance, but your perception of it is of one that is smaller. And the farther
That is
from your
correct.
eye,
Nobody
it's
disagrees with that.
you are disagreeing with that. Your
No,
view,
no. Listen,
and you're
it gets
trying to
smaller.
sell, a perspective view, and it's not.
Now, let me ask the question again. If you just
slide, that's a sleight of hand.
It reduces
There's
in
no
angular
slide,
size, but yes, in physical space, the stick remains 6 feet, of course. Jimbo's
Right, now,
talking about angular size reduction at distance.
But I know it drops in angular size as it gets further away. Everybody knows that, right? We agree on that.
Okay.
Well, this is that's not my question. My question is the top of the stick. At the moment, I'm sighting along two sticks along the top of them both. If I move the right-hand stick further away, then does the top go down so it no longer sights across the top?
Eventually, yeah.
How does it move? How does it do that?
Because it reduces in angular size until it
But it
until
it
it
does.
reduces into the vanishing point at the horizon.
Yes, but the top stays where it is because that's at the eye level. It's the bottom that appears to move up.
The bottom appears to move up. So then it would mean that the horizon always rises to eye level. So that's what this is all going to go back to, is whether the horizon rises to eye level, right?
It's related, but if we can't establish how it works in Euclidean
Well,
space,
let's say it
then
works
we're never
like this.
going to-
Go ahead. Go forward. We'll agree for the sake of agreeing and getting through the presentation. Go ahead. You don't have to ask us questions all along the way. Just present your case, and then we can talk about it so that you can get through it.
My whole idea, this was for asking questions so that I could work out which parts you don't understand and which parts you do understand. Otherwise, I give my presentation, you talk a lot of rubbish about it afterwards when I've gone back to work. It's probably better just to try and sort these things out live. That's my opinion. So, in this diagram, for example, these sticks here, 3 sticks. My line of sight to the first stick is I'm looking down to the bottom of the stick. On the second stick, I'm looking down a little bit less, but I have to look up to see the second stick. The third stick, I have to look up again. So the bottom of the third stick appears to rise. That's how it works, but the top remains where the top is. Is that understood?
Yes, I understand your model of it, yes.
No, this is flat. This is a flat Earth. It works. This is a flat. It's not my model. This is how reality works. It's not my model.
No, this is how you're conceptualizing that it would work on a flat plane. So at distance, you think that if you point your camera in line with the top, it will always be in line with the top, no matter how far away that rod is placed. It could be placed 100 miles away, and you think that that front rod and that back rod will always align on the top. That's your conceptualization of how perspective works. And when you see it drop in the distance, then you say it dropped due to Earth curvature, right?
Yes, that's correct. But you've missed one point. This is not what I think. It's not. This is how reality works. This is how perspective works. All you're trying to do is deny perspective so that a clear picture which shows curvature, you can say that's not curvature because you don't understand what perspective it really is.
No.
And that's where the crux
That's
of the matter
not all
is.
I'm trying to do. I have a fundamental disagreement. So you can call it denying all you want, but I don't think this is how it works in reality. You think there's a curve in the Earth.
How can you say reality doesn't work in reality?
You change that perspective change, the lowering of the objects as it moved off into the distance into Earth curve. It's very simple.
The object, but
So
the
do
object,
you have any evidence?
can try it. Anybody can try it. You can go over to Phuket Word's channel. Phuket Word agrees with me on this. You go over there and I can point you to the video. He even made a correction video on this because he got it wrong.
So at a distance, let's say if I want to go out and I want to validate your conception of how perspective works that's represented in this diagram here. And let's say I want to go out and I want to do it over a 10-mile distance. How would I go about doing that?
You cannot do that over a 10-mile distance. You have Earth curve to contend with. You need to do it over a distance where there is no discernible Earth curve so that you can actually see how it works for yourself.
Don't you see the contradiction in that? That's what I'm saying. So if I go out and I try to do it at 10 miles and I see the rod lowering, you're going to say, that's Earth curve. And I'm going to say, no, that's how perspective works. I'm asking you how I can actually validate that it's one or the other. You're assuming it's happening because of Earth curve. If you do it on a small local level, you're not going to get the same drop because it increases with distance. So you're seeing it like this at a local level, and you're saying the Earth curve doesn't affect it within whatever distance you think it doesn't affect it with, say 100 meters. But as you get further and the Earth curve comes into play, then the rod lowers because of curvature.
That's
so
correct.
There's no,
Thank
you've
you
set
for
up an
clarifying that.
unfalsifiable model.
No, listen
Then tell
to
me how
please.
to falsify it.
If you want to do an experiment, which you can say you want to work out, is the Earth curved or flat? You need to construct your experiment so that there isn't room for this contradiction to come into it. You need to construct an experiment that if the Earth were curved, you get a particular result. If the Earth were flat, you'd get another result.
Shit.
And you could distinguish between the two.
No shit.
So,
that's what I just asked you. How would you do that?
No. Okay, so how you do that is not so easy in this case. And because if I try to take, for example, the ocean, and you say you cannot assume it's flat. All right, we get into trouble for assuming curve, but you cannot assume it's flat. So you have to come up. This is where
Yes, you can.
This is a problem because now you won't even acknowledge the way perspective works. So there's.
I won't disagree. You just said it's very difficult
out
to experimentally prove this one way or the other, and then in the other breath you say, I won't acknowledge that this is how perspective works. I'm asking you for an experiment that I can do to validate whether it works one way or the other, and then you're going around and telling me there's no experiment you can do, it's very difficult, but why don't you just accept my model of how perspective works?
All right, I understand
that?
where you're coming. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Now here, this all stems from the fact that you do not understand perspective. And when you cite, like I did, to show the sun below eye level, you're denying the way that the level works, you're denying the way perspective works. And so for you, I can easily determine which is flat or curved, but for you, you cannot, because you think that the stick should go down in the distance.
So you can easily distinguish the two. So you obviously done an experiment that proves to you that it is Earth curvature and not perspective, but I can't do it because I'm a denier critical? Tell me what the fucking experiment is, critical think.
You don't understand. I'm just telling you.
I don't understand. Right now, I fucking love that phrase. I don't understand. Say it again.
You don't understand.
Thank you.
We get accused, critical. We get accused of a whole lot of things in this arena, but not understanding perspective. I don't think that's something I've heard before, and this has been going on for years. So to say we don't understand how perspective works, that's a reach.
Well, why do you think we call it flirspective? Why do you think? Why do we think we have to give it a different name?
Perspective. You're saying I can't set up an experiment to assuming it's flat, but you're setting up these experiments assuming it's curved.
But I'm not assuming it's curved. That's just not what's happening.
Yes, you are. You said after a certain distance, Earth curvature comes into play.
You can't deny the experimental evidence.
What experimental evidence?
I shoot a level line over the water. The horizon drops. The level line is over the sun. That is experimental evidence.
How are you interpreting that it's due to Earth?
By that one piece of information, by itself is not enough to say that the Earth is curved, but it does say that the Earth is not flat. If the Earth were flat, it would be different.
Well, how would it be different? This is what I'm asking you for 10 minutes now. What is the experiment? What would I see if it was flat? What would I see if it was round? And what's the experiment I can do to validate that it's one way or the other? And you keep calling me a denier and telling me that you can do it and you figured it out, but I can't because of perspective and what other bullshit you're pulling out of your ass, critical think. You're getting on my nerves, dude.
All right, can I jump in?
Yeah, go ahead, Travis. Let me cool down for a minute. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, because I can't roll the tape back, I do recall earlier on in this discussion, Critical, where you affirmed what Brandon described as perspective. That is, you agreed with his description of what perspective does.
Wait. No. I agreed that things get smaller in the distance. I did not agree that they go down. Eye level does not go down. That's the difference.
Okay, so now we still have the question that Brandon has asked, and that is the falsification aspect. How did you falsify and eliminate a flat Earth interpretation?
All right, I can answer that. And we're going to run into the same trouble, but I will answer it. On a flat plane, when you sight a level line along a flat plane that is also level, then the bottom will appear, the bottom plane will appear to rise to eye level. It doesn't rise to eye level, therefore that falsifies the flat plane.
Okay, it doesn't do it at all?
Obviously, it does it to a point until it curves away. In this case, it either could be curving away. It could be curving
on a flat plane.
Because people can model it. People can do physical models. People can do computer models.
Pictures and writing numbers on paper isn't verification. So how did you verify that that's how it literally works in reality on a flat plane?
You can do it over a short distance with your focal length of your camera, not zoomed in. If you zoom out and you go at a low elevation, you can look very far and the horizon will appear to rise to eye level. It's only when you start to get higher and zoom in more that you notice the difference. It's not noticeable otherwise.
That's because the disappearance of objects into the vanishing line is a function of its height relative to your line of sight. And since that is fairly close to the zero case there, as close as it can be in line of sight, when it's directly in front of you, that's where the least amount of drop is. It takes the furthest amount of time for it to descend gradually into the vanishing point.
So why...
Tell me how to falsify that.
Why would I need to look down to see the vanishing point?
Okay, so whoa. Why wouldn't you?
Yeah,
because in your diagram you're showing the 0 degrees is always the vanishing point. So how can looking down and not 0 degrees be the vanishing point?
Who said 0 degrees is always the vanishing point, first of all?
This in the diagrams you do. You showed a diagram, the cityscape with 0 degrees there, and that everything converges on that 0 degrees.
In that cityscape, yeah.
So if you want to, this is the thing. If you want that horizon to be your vanishing point, then you're looking down at your vanishing point. If you're looking down at your vanishing point, then the parallel line to the surface is a line going down, not level.
I think your contention, your base assumption here is that on a flat plane, the horizon was always rise to eye level. And there's a lot wrong with that. We're not going to even bring up refraction or the other atmospheric effects. But how did you validate that assumption? You are above the surface, and when your line of sight is pointed out away from you, parallel to the ground, your vision is essentially a parallel plane above the surface. So why would that always rise up to your eye level?
Let's make the distinction here between appear to rise and rise, right? We use the term sometimes interchangeably when talking about perspective, but to be perfectly clear, if I was to put a 15-meter pole on the ground and move it 100 kilometers away, then you would not be able to see it. It would be so small so that it would appear that that gap is zero. So that's what appear to rise means. As you get further away, that gap between your eye level and the ground comes to zero. But your eye level is your vanishing point.
So as you look out and as you magnify the horizon, that gap will appear larger between you and the horizon, right? As you magnify it out further.
If on a flat Earth or a curved Earth, which one are you talking about?
On a flat Earth. I mean, that's what happens in reality too, though, isn't it? As you look out at that horizon further and further and magnify it.
No, it's because it's important, because a flat Earth doesn't have a horizon. It extends like thousands of miles.
Whoa. No, absolutely not.
So you think that it would always rise to eye level then, critical think. Is that what you're saying? And that there wasn't actually be a horizon?
It would be so far away you wouldn't be able to see it. It would just blend into the haze.
We can't see
tell
that
me
far.
You don't know that?
It does blend in the haze right now. We already have a limit to our visibility. Do we not? They published it in the weather report.
You don't understand perspective.
Tell me, if I was to look out on a foggy day, would I be able to make out the horizon?
No.
Yes.
An apparent horizon, yes. Not a what is it called? Geometric horizon.
No. Don't give it. Don't go down that road. Yes, critical thinking.
But that's what he's talking about, Travis.
Well, well, he didn't say it, so let's not put words into his mouth.
So I have. Anybody can go out and take pictures on a foggy day. Sorry, say it again, Travis.
No, I went mute. I went on mute to let you talk.
Right. Again, all right. Sorry, I have to go soon, but I will say about the horizon. We see if the surface of the water was flat and level and went for thousands of miles, just like I was looking out over the Pacific Ocean, for example, then in the distance, eventually, your vision wouldn't be able to distinguish anything because everything would become a blur. You would not see a clean, clear, crisp horizon.
That's what happens now. What the fuck are you talking about?
Right. That's what happens. Right.
I can see a clean, clear, crisp horizon now. I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, you can show me observations of what you think is a clear, crisp horizon. And I can show you observations of what is obviously what you described, and we can discuss what is the phenomena happening that is making it appear either way. But no, you always have a limit to your visibility. You would never be able to see thousands or hundreds of miles, especially at sea level.
That's why I'm saying, in reality, what we see is impossible on a flat Earth because, right, we don't see it fade out.
What you're saying is what we see is exactly what you described what would happen on a flat Earth.
No, on a flat Earth, every day, the horizon would go into the distance and you would not be able to see it. On reality,
Earth that you claim doesn't exist and that you can't test, you claim to know all of the weather conditions, everything that would take place and how it would affect your vision on this Earth that you claim doesn't even exist. Is that your claim?
Can I finish my sentence now? I can go out
there.
I've
already shown that it's retarded.
Oh, thank you for that. Now, as I go out there and take photos of the water, I can see how far I can see. I have a horizon in front of an island. How can I do that if the water is supposed to go further?
Oh, are you fucking kidding me? We talked about this the other day, critical thing. We looked at that picture. There is an obvious Mirage in that picture. You can see the mirroring.
Okay, yeah, critical. Listen, I have dealt with this question on my channel when I'm shooting the Channel Islands, right? Anacapa Island is 20 miles away. I have a horizon in front of the island many times. And I've said this over and over again, and I have it on my, I've got stills. If you and I want to do a show, I can show you these and we can talk through them. I'm going to say it this way. When we are looking out over aquatic distance in this discussion, and there's an island 20 miles away, and I have an apparent horizon, that horizon is always created by the conditions of the medium. That's why I have a horizon every single time. And every single time I go out on that day from 8 o'clock in the morning until 3 o'clock in the afternoon or whatever, that horizon is going to be different throughout the day. It's going to change. And
that's correct. It does change, but the fact that you have a horizon in the first place disproves flat Earth.
No, it does
Again,
not.
no matter the day, no matter the conditions, on a flat Earth, the horizon would be so far distant you could not make it out through the haze.
Okay, listen. What I'm going to agree on one hand with that and say the reason why you can't see the distant water is because it's behind the medium, which is obstructing your ability. So the horizon that you do see is the limit that the medium is allowing you to see on that day, because you'll see farther the next day, or you might not see as far the next day. And the only thing that changes, it's not the geometric distance, it's the conditions of the medium.
I disagree, but anyway, I have to go. I got work to do, so I don't know how we're ever going to get to agree on the point. I suggest some of you actually go and watch, see what Phuket Word has to say on the top of things not going down along a level line.
How recent is this video? Is it pretty recent?
Oh, fairly recent. Just prior to him going back to Thailand.
Okay. And what distances was he talking about?
I don't remember what, but he was just saying how perspective works and how something at eye level doesn't go below eye level. And that's correct. And that's the basis for knowing that if your horizon has a dip, then that's not flat and level. The ocean is not flat and level.
Yeah. So I'd really love to know what experiment we can do to validate this at distance, critical think, which you still have not described, but something to think about.
I could, but when you have this stumbling block, when the interpretation of the results is going to be different, then the experiment is going to be useless, because one side will say that is because of this, and the other side will be saying, no, that's not how reality works. So until we can sort out...
Sounds like a bad experiment if the results can be interpreted in such very different ways.
Yeah, I'm asking you for an experiment to resolve that situation, critical think, to confirm the base assumption in your interpretation.
Well, look, I think the best idea is to have an experiment which first of all establishes that something at eye level does not go below eye level.
Great. How do we do that at 10 miles?
No, you can do it at 100 meters. You don't need to go 10 miles.
Yeah, you do, because you're saying that at 100 meters you're not impacted by Earth curve, right? That's what you say?
So the reason why you do it at 100 meters or 200 meters and not 10 miles is because if you're trying to determine if there's Earth curve or not, you don't want Earth curve getting in the way. You need to eliminate the Earth curve so that you can take that out of the equation and just say, look, this is how it works on a flat plane.
We're talking about
you
at
can't
distances.
You can't do it if you do it on a curved surface. You can't do it.
What are you not getting? We're talking about doing it at a distance. That's the assumption that we're trying to validate, not 100
No,
meters.
you need to you need at the distance you're testing whether it's curved or not. You cannot test this perspective idea at a distance because the Earth is curved. Or as you
Yes, you
say,
can.
well, it may be curved, it may be flat. Let's just say you
The-
don't
the-
know if it's curved or flat, then you cannot prove something like that. I think they call it some kind of fallacy. It's not going to work because you first need to establish how perspective works.
There we go. I don't know how you did it then if you haven't established that assumption, but okay. You say you know how it works. I understand.
Right, so
Telling us this
sorry,
is how it
but I
works.
have to go. No, I'm not. I can design an experiment for yourself. You can verify. In fact, just a minute, quickly. I see if I've got something here. So this is here how you look how it works in a short distance. Now, my camera is above the railings, so they all appear to come to converge to that point in the distance. Now, there's the railing is roughly level over a short distance. Now, I look along the top railing. The railing does not go up or down. It converges to a point where everything is almost at a point, right? So this is flat for a particular distance. Now, when I move, sorry, I draw a line. I drew that line just to show that that is my eye level. That's my 0 degrees. Everything below that is going up. But at my eye level, it goes off into the distance. It doesn't go down, right? You can do this. And then when I move my camera down, the top one goes down. The middle one there stays at eye level. It's this, you can do this over a short distance. So I don't know. I don't know what the problem is.
Well, I've described the problem to you multiple times, but okay. Thank you very much for coming on and discussing this with us. Did anybody else have anything for?
Yeah, just real quick. I just have a question real quick, and it can just be out there for the next time. If you set up critical, if you set up the parameters that you're going to shoot, and we're able to find someone in another location that can match those same parameters, you're going to have a different landscape, right? You're going to have a different observation, but all of the parameters are going to be equal. Is it your opinion that you should have an exact match in terms of the data that is observed?
I don't understand exactly what you're trying to get at. I can discuss it with you after if you like.
Okay. All right.
Can you go back 2 slides? Sorry. I just wanted to take another look at that. All right. Appreciate it. Thank you.
So, as I said, I'm going on holidays tomorrow. I may be able to next week come on again, maybe. It depends. Because I'll be relaxing by the beach. But on the way up there, I'm traveling like something like 1,500 kilometers. As I said before, I'm going to be weighing a standard weight. And this, again, is evidence of a rotation.
What controls do
I
you
know
have
what you have to say about
protect
that.
from other variables? What are your alternative hypotheses for that experiment?
Will you tell me what the alternative hypotheses are? That the Earth is flat and there's no change, or that the Earth is a non-rotating sphere, or that the Earth is a rotating spheroid. There are up to 5 different hypotheses that I test this against.
No, like, okay, I got you. How about the change in weight by location is correlated to your position, your distance from the North Pole, or your position within the magnetic field, or do you have any other variables that you've considered and have ruled out or are protecting against? Controlling?
Well, there's height, right? Height is a variable which affects it, right? The others, magnetism and all of those, the Earth's magnetic field. I think I have the means now to measure the Earth's magnetic field, and I'll see if I can do that. The people have also mentioned humidity, temperature, a whole bunch of things which in reality have an infinitesimal effect on the result. And not only that, the effect will be random and it won't follow the pattern that will be given by a particular shape of the Earth. So, yes,
right, but you have to realize the fact, right? You have to realize the fact that you have to then eliminate those variables so that those changes are easily associated with one particular variable. So if you are able to get a measurement of magnetism, then I would say, from my perspective, your observation has nothing to contribute unless you have those magnetic readings. If you come back and you say, I wasn't able to get the magnetic readings, I'm not going to pay attention to what you're saying.
Yeah, of course, because the thing is, for you to say that, you would also need to establish that there is a relationship, a defined relationship between magnetism and how something weighs.
That's your burden. That's your burden because you're claiming weight change due to X. But you have to eliminate magnetism as a variable. If you don't do that...
Yeah. As I said, I intend to. But then again, you're claiming that magnitude has an effect, and you'd have no evidence to say that.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that.
I understand. But again, if magnetism, if the world is electromagnetic, okay, if you did have the tools to gauge electromagnetism at any location, at any elevation, as well as the other variables, but you don't take into account electromagnetism, that is negligence on your part, because it is a reality in our world.
Of course it is, just the same way as an ant crawling across the ground has an effect on where I walk. It's exact, you're not thinking about the magnitude of these effects.
Sorry. I don't believe that what you just said is analogous.
I think I would state it a different way in that whatever you're doing, your movements are going to be correlated with quite a few different things. So if you choose that to say that it's because of Earth rotation, I'd like to know how you've ruled out all those other things that it's correlated with.
Well, that's by doing the mathematics and the correlation. There's science associated with this in terms of matching. People do it mainly in all kinds of statistical matching and curve fitting. There is a science associated with it. You can confidently work out that there is a high probability that something is related to something else. And I've worked it out previously to 98%, and in another experiment 99% is my level of confidence.
Yeah.
Okay, so
that's it.
What I'm saying is those other things are also correlated with your supposed spin of the Earth in the same way. Your envisioned Earth rotation is correlated in a similar way with all these other variables that could also be impacting it.
Okay, so just real quick, I saw your previous weight measurement videos. Did you take into account electromagnetism then?
No, because it's not.
That's fine. No, that's fine.
It's
fine.
not an effect. You need to prove. You need to prove that is an effect. You cannot say that unless you can prove that. Yes, you need to prove that has a measurable effect.
No. All we need to do is understand that it exists. Electromagnetism in our world is a variable in our experience wherever we are located. So my follow-up question was, okay, in this next observation, let's say you are able to measure electromagnetism in that location X. Location X, the variable of electromagnetism, the measurement is Y. Then when you go to your other location the electromagnetism variable is Z. Okay? That's a variable. If then you have a change in weight, it is very possible, because you have a change in electromagnetism, that is the cause for your change in field.
I'll have to go. That's it's like no, I won't go any more on that. We'll just leave it at that. I have to go. I've got to be places.
Sure.
So thanks for listening so far.
No,
Sorry if I was
you.
a pain, but that's what happens.
No, thank you. We got a little heated there, but it's all in the spirit of scientific discovery or something like that, right? Debate, whatever you want to call it. So no hard feelings on my end. Hope there's none on yours. Appreciate you coming and bringing us your work, and good luck on your trip.
Okay, thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Okay. That was that. Apologize, I lost my shit a little bit there.
Well, the man is really trying to convince himself of his own beliefs more so than really anyone else. For me, he's obviously insane.
Jesus, Jimbo.
Don't hold back, Jimbo. Tell us what you really think.
Well, yeah. I mean, insanity is a legitimate criticism when you don't look at reality the way that you should. Okay, if you think that reality is X when it's Y, that is insanity.
You know, I keep repeating, SANE is from an acronym, and it's used in computers, like on keyboards. It's for standard alphanumeric entry. If you can't enter it in a standard and alphabetical way that, say, a computer could understand and truth logic tables can understand, it is insane. The computer can handle it as a flight of fantasy and accept any kind of nonsense. But anything actual, as far as truth logic goes, he'd be out the door after, the first rejection of, well, anyway. Like I say, there's sane and the rest is insane. If it's not standard alphanumeric entry into your brain or out of your brain, it's insanity out of your brain.
Is that something you came up with, or is that some kind of medical term? Or
it's an acronym. It's like news. You know where the acronym news comes from?
I don't think I do.
It's north, east, west, south.
Oh.
It's an acronym pulled from the 4 points cardinal. The word tips. When you go to a restaurant and you leave a tip, you know what a tip is?
Yeah, it's to ensure prompt service.
Prompt service, yeah. So there's so many acronyms out there, but that's an important one.
Okay. Cool. So what do you guys think about what he said about perspective and how he sees it work, and the pictures he showed us of at the docks? I snapped those, by the way.
Well, like I say, that's Muppet vision. He wants to extend a concept that really is a perspective thing, where the farther thing from the camera or the viewer, the eye, whatever is, and have it maintain its size. When in reality, if you're, looking at it at a distance, it doesn't retain visually the size. The perspective changes, the angular resolution changes with distance. It's so wrong to take one of those orthographic views and then say, this is representing perspective. No, it's not. The mountain is drawn the same size it was before without any angular reduction. No math can be applied, fairly. As far as the perspective calculation that must be there, leaving it out is just bullshit. And trying to say that this side view where everything maintains its size and we're looking at it from the side and being objective, no, we're not. You really have to be behind the lens again, looking out and seeing that actual reduction, vanishing point, etc.
Right. So I'm sharing my screen. Help me do this fairly, because he showed a red line here. He kind of chose this right here, right? Is this where his theodolite crosshair would be? If this was a theodolite down here, I mean, this isn't even in center frame, right?
Right.
This railing.
Right. Yeah.
Well, even there, the lenses for these theodolites and auto levels are not ground or made for extreme distances of 30 kilometers and stuff. I think they said, 600 meters or something is the max, or 100 meters for accuracy at their, percent of whatever.
Yeah.
They're not intended for this type of sitting beside a water level and point at a mountain miles away and say, here's proof the earth is curved.
Right.
Even this, so what, the horizon, it's well centered, the photo, it's a nice photo. And yeah, it appears that the horizon and mountains and everything eye level is below or sort of dip below, but that's not necessarily the case either. There's so many photo tricks, like, in movies, when you have the camera pointed down at someone, it makes them seem like inferior or lesser. Then when you have it pointed up at someone, it makes them feel more giant or bold or whatever. Well, all that.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I would say about this photo, the one thing that I would say about that photo is that it looks like it's off center. It looks like he's looking from lower to above. That's why the line is above the railing.
Right.
I complained about that in the other, how he uses the bottom 2/3, or in his thing, taking the picture through his level, he was getting really below the top, even third of the view from inside the auto level.
Yeah.
Whether he's consciously or unconsciously cheating, it don't matter. But he did it with the water level by not putting his thing on a tripod and getting the shot he wanted by squatting down and angling and getting just where he wanted for the shot. And the same basic idea is still from the theodolite or the auto level. He cherry-picked both of them and created both of them to, back up his claims.
So what I'm thinking here is, Travis, I think you're right, and I think you're right too, Jimbo, that he's kind of given us some less than great data to work with. But in this picture, it does appear that this is the center of his frame, right? I don't know how else you would get the center of the frame. Is there a better way than this method of choosing where the center frame is? It would be this red cross right here, right?
He's taking from about below chest level, somewhere around belly button level. How come?
I know.
You stand at 6 foot. Your eyes are, 5'8" or something. Why is he at this particular angle? And why is there, I guess, more sky and blue above than below?
But this, okay, so this red here, this kind of represents the theodolite crosshairs, right? I'm looking through this instrument. I'm looking out. I've got my crosshairs in the theodolite. Yeah, it goes corner to corner here, but let's just pretend. So I pointed at the top of this railing. Now, look at what happens. The top of the railing goes down. And it goes down further in the distance. Is this what's happening when you look into a theodolite? Or does he just have this misaligned?
And the dock itself is coming up to meet the railings going down.
Even this goes down. So I don't know what... Did he just pick this and go like that? Just put that in there like that? Is that what he did? Did I capture that picture? Let me see if I did.
I think this is cropped too. It's not the full original picture.
So this one is cropped. You see that? So here,
I believe it is.
Here's the previous picture, because I asked him, can you go back 2 pictures? And let's see if this is cropped here. Look at the edges here. You've got 3 of these things on the left here. And then if you go down here to the other picture where we put the line in, is that cropped or is it just smaller? Let me see what he did here. Okay, so there's the picture. See if I can get it to line up. What did he do? Is this the full picture? I don't know. Yeah, I'll make it transparent and just take a look at it. Okay, so there it is. All right, so what did he do? Well, anyway. Yeah, I guess we'd have to know where the center of his frame is, right?
He might be a midget. The guy might only stand 4'5" from all his shots there.
Yeah.
They might use him in midget bowling in Australia or something there.
I don't know.
You can earn a good living at that. Anyway, I'm kidding. Why are all his shots so low? You know, I don't like to bend over to do shoots, and I don't shoot people's ankles either. It's just weird. There's just my instincts tell me there's something wrong with what's going on with this presentation.
Well, he's chosen this line to put it in here, and this is clearly lower than the middle of the photograph. So why did he choose to put the line there and say that that is the line of sight?
Upward. I guarantee you there's a tilt off of 90 degrees, you know, off perpendicular to his lens towards the sky.
Look at how far
Look at
how far lower he's put it. Right? I mean, this goes from corner to corner. Is it cropped? I don't know. But that line is not in the center of his frame. Is the eye level of the camera offset? I wonder if he could answer these questions. I don't know. Yeah, Ian Adams says you need to have the camera in real life. He has taken that picture on purpose. Yeah. All right, so that's that. Any other last thoughts on critical thinking, his stuff? Left Lane, what did you think? You there, Howard? Or are you busy?
Hey, do you remember my last question to him?
What was it? No, I don't. What was it?
That if we had someone set up the exact same shot in another location, would he expect to have the same data, the same result, even though you have a different location, a different observation? If you set everything up, you're looking over the same distance, would he expect the drop to be identical?
What did he say? I can't remember his answer.
He said he didn't understand my question.
Oh. Oh shit. That's
well, so
funny.
my question then is what I'm suggesting, does that make sense?
I don't know. Because
that's the issue, in my opinion, the criticism that I have of B-Ball for Life, where he's saying that in his photograph in Hawaii, he cannot see a landmass that's 8 miles away. So my question is, okay, if you can't see a landmass that's 8 miles away because the Earth is curved, shouldn't that mean that if I'm in my location and I'm shooting across distance and there's land, shouldn't I also not see land 8 mile away? Because if the Earth is curving in every direction,
it should be the same in both locations, right?
Same. Okay, so then, right. So that's my question to Critical Think. And my prediction is, no, you're going to have a widely varying result. And the only reason for that, everyone?
Ether band.
It's the Aether band. That's right. Everybody drink.
This is like living fear and loathing of flat Earth there. It's almost like Globers have like drunk some, I don't know what there, adrenochrome, and they're all hallucinating and stuff. But, you know, these concepts that are bending all over, solid horizons, bendy lines, you know, plumb bobs that are at angles to each other, just every nonsense that you can imagine coming out is just getting space cadets. It's out to lunch. It's discoherent.
Yeah. I don't think it was unreasonable of me to ask what experimental evidence he had that it's Earth curvature impacting. That's a pretty simple question. I mean, it just seems like he just assumes it, right? But it was interesting that the answers that came back. Travis, you put out some footage today, and we sort of played your sunset video on the show yesterday a little bit in the background. But is there any of that you wanted to go over as kind of a follow-on to any of the discussions that have been happening here? Or? You there? Did I lose my audio? No? Can anybody hear me? Yeah. Okay, looks like I dropped my Discord audio. I'll have to rejoin. Okay. Let me pick.
I could hear you, Brandon.
Ah, somebody can hear me. There you are, Bob.
Yeah, I could hear you before. I didn't get to the unmute thing in time, but I can hear you.
Okay. I thought I might be talking to myself there for a minute. Appreciate that, Bob.
Yep.
Maybe Travis is busy or something. So let me look and see what else we've got. Oh, I wanted to take a look at this. Speaking of sunsets, this came up a couple of times. This is the New York to Moscow. I'll share in 1 second. Flight trip that's been bandied around. I thought it was pretty interesting. Let me share. Most of us has probably seen this before, but it's kind of cool. We can talk about what's going on here. Okay, so supposedly, and I believe this is correct, this is a 4-minute flight trip from New York to Moscow. Have you guys seen this?
Yeah, this is really good.
Yeah, it's really cool. So you can watch the sun the whole way and see the horizon through the clouds, the thick kind of limit to your vision through the clouds, for 4 straight minutes. And we've been looking at the sun a lot lately, and I just came across this and I thought, yeah, this would be good to talk about because it is pretty cool what you see in this. You see the sun kind of fade out there and this illumination distance. Now, this is what kind of caught my eye. The sun is clearly above the horizon here, correct?
No, you fail to realize the sun is already behind the horizon. That's just the remaining light.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I thought somebody might say something like that, but I'm looking at this and I think that the sun is still above the horizon. It's pretty dang bright for being behind the earth. And another thing I noticed is it's dark right here down below this plane and around here, but there's the sun right there. Oh, how is that possible? How is it possible to have darkness right here and the sun above the horizon? Anybody?
Light attenuation.
And by light attenuation, what do you mean by that, Travis?
Well, you're up high in the airplane, so you can still see the light, so it's in your line of sight. But if you were down below that, if you drop down vertically to the ground, you'd be in nighttime.
Okay.
So the light, the sun has gone far enough away from you on the ground, but being as high as they are, that just extends the plane. So you can see clearly the sun. I would say, yeah, that is the sun. Right below the sun, you've got the daylight lighting up that amount of distance. But then there's a limit to where that's the sun can reach.
Okay, so the sun is not I think I heard that the sun is not all powerful and could not light up the entirety of the earth at one time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's how I interpreted that. Yeah, that seems to make sense.
I mean, if you go back, now that you're bringing this point up, if you go back to the beginning, the sun is going to be high, so you're going to have those clouds, or whatever clouds you're flying above are going to be lit up, right?
Yeah, the sun is higher here. It looks closer.
Yeah, so you've got no shadows. You've got see, you can see this. Yep. But now it's not getting lower. It's traveling farther away. Now stop it right when you start to see the shadows come in, like right there. See? So right there at the bottom of the frame, nighttime is starting.
Yeah, you can even see it coming in right here, and the sun is way above the horizon there. Do you see that? I mean, you can see the blue sky in between the horizon and the sun right there. Clearly, the sun is higher than this down here.
Okay. So now imagine that you were a helicopter, or you could remain stationary right there. That sun would continue in its circuit away from you, and you would watch the darkness creep closer and closer to the horizon. You would see the lit part. Okay, you see the sun glare in the middle of the landscape. You see that sun glare?
Yeah, like right down here.
Okay, and then right above that, I would say that the clouds are lit up by the sun.
Hard to tell, but yeah, it looks like there's some clouds like right around here that are lit up.
Yeah. So if you stayed right there and just let the sun do its business, those clouds would eventually be in darkness.
Okay, well, let's see what we can see on here. Not the same clouds, of course, but okay, there we go. It's gone a little further. You can still see daylight.
Yeah, but now you've got nighttime developing below you.
And it looked like it was a gradual process to me. Like it let's watch it one more time and just pay attention to how gradually it gets dark. It's already changed in color. It's like twilight right there. Darker, 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 darker. I would say the sun is just now hitting the horizon or getting close to it. Totally dark.
Yeah, and now at this elevation, you have a similar presentation of the horizon at sunset with the orange and the deep blue and
yeah.
It looks just like it would if you were standing on the beach.
Absolutely. Okay, now that was interesting. Did you see what happened there? There was a dramatic change in how the sun looked. Right? I'll try to go slow. Boom. Okay, it might be that hard cloud line that is blocking it. There we go. Boom. Okay, there's the sun. Clearly behind the clouds, right? We can see it lit up back here still. Like we're seeing the lit up area from a long ways away is what it looks like to me. There's still part of the earth that's lit up that we can see. We can still see blue sky way over there. Is that what it looks like to you guys? Like this is still blue sky off in the distance.
Yeah. Wait for it. Wait for it.
Here we go. And we're still flying. I wonder how long this trip is. See if it says down here real quick. It doesn't say. I think it's like pretty dang long if I remember right. I can look it up. Flight time from what? New York to Moscow? Flight time, New York to Moscow. 9 hours. I thought it was longer than that, but 9 hours. Oh, and I looked away and I missed it becoming light again. There it is, light again. Interesting. Yeah, so I thought that was pretty cool. See, we're still flying.
And now is the sun above them? Or...
Has it like caught up around behind them? I don't know where the sun is. It looks like it's over to the right. But maybe not.
That's kind of weird. I wasn't expecting that.
Well, let's see. Well,
I think that's a different video than the one I saw. The one I saw, the sun went down below the horizon and then came back up at the same horizon. That's what I was expecting here. I think this is a different video.
I think I've seen that one you're talking about too. I'll have to see if I can find that one. Well, here they're obviously flown into daylight
Because it's the
again.
same. It was the same flight path, I believe. It was from New York to Moscow. So that would be interesting to look at the different seasons if it was a different time of year.
Yeah, I'll have to see if I can find that other one. Now, do you see this horizon? This goes back to my debate with Mr. Sensible. How there's this thick band of white that is obviously the clouds, because you can see the clouds or fog, whatever you want to call it. Water vapor in the air, moisture right here that condenses as you get closer to the horizon, and that angle narrows. Your angle of vision right there. That is not Earth curve. That is clearly the limit of your vision. That's clearly clouds. Keep going. There we go. Well, this is cloud level 2. It's going down. I don't know if we're going to see the sun again in this thing or not. But we just saw the end. There we go. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Any other thoughts on that? No? Okay. Let's see what else I got. I did want to talk about the sun a little bit. Why don't we watch your sun video, Travis? I know we did it in the after show, but...
Brandon, can I get a mic check?
Yeah, you're good, man. Yep, you sound good.
I have a comment on the sun. I have a sun that goes into a bridge below it and all that, where I take my sunset. And the glare, like what you were showing earlier, the glare was in front of the clouds. Basically, the glare of the sun will come in front of the bridge and block the bridge and the cars going over it. But you know the sun is behind the bridge. The sun goes behind the object, but the glare of the sun in the same shape goes in front of the bridge. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I'd like to see that.
I'll send it to you here in just a minute. I'm getting a massage, so the girl's on my right arm.
Oh my God, I hate Rakia Life.
I know.
I knew he was gonna be mad. I can't use my right hand right now, but as soon as she moves to my back or whatever, I'll post them.
Okay.
Yeah, but they're pretty cool how the glare obstructs things, but the actual sun is behind the object,
Is he still talking? Because I put him on mute.
Yeah, good choice. We don't hear poker chips tonight, but we do have to hear about how he's getting a massage.
Well, I'm going there at 7, so.
Okay. Rakia Life.
You'll hear chips later.
So, Travis, I'm playing your sun video now, your sunset video.
Yeah.
And I thought this was really cool and that the audience should see this even though it was in the after show. So if you want to talk about it, you guys want to talk over this, I got to make a pit stop and I'll be right back in like 1 minute, 2 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just let it play and let the video and the text prompt. So this is all real time right now. And there it comes, right there. Watch that.
Okay, I'm back. All right, so yeah, that's pretty damn neat what's happening on the horizon right there. Is there a name for that? Somebody said a name for what the sun looks like there. Flattening or some crap.
Well, it's in what Wegener calls the duct. He doesn't call it a band; he calls it a duct, and that is that thin section above the water. But in case anybody forgot, right now the source of this light is now gone.
What do you mean by that?
Well, we just saw the top image that was setting, right? We watched the sun set, and that image is now no longer visible. This image that we're looking at here didn't develop until halfway through the sun's egress. So where is this light coming from? If the sun is behind the earth, where is this light coming from? Because the sun is gone.
Yeah, good point too. And who was this Wegener person that you mentioned?
He's one of the go-to references that Andrew Thomas Young references in his papers back in the early 1900s. He made observations, and his description of what we're seeing at a distance here, he calls it a duct.
A duct. Why does he call it that?
D-U-C-T, a duct.
That seems like an odd name for it.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we have aqueducts and air ducts, so I'm sure that there's some technical reference for it.
Okay, it does kind of look like a flowing, like there's flowing water, flowing mass.
Yeah, but if you go back to when I zoom in on the duct, you can see the ocean doing the same thing as the duct above it. So in my opinion, the duct is just farther ocean.
Oh, you think that top line there where the sun is coming from or through, making that minus sign right there, you think that's ocean that's flowing in front of that, or that sun image is on water?
I don't know. I'm not gonna give Pete Shea that satisfaction. No, but yes, that is water.
Oh, that's interesting, because I personally, it doesn't look like it's water to me. Could be. I don't know. And I noticed another thing in the beginning. Even you can see that flowing around the sun. It's like you've got this flowing, and it seems to go from right to left here. Could be wrong. That could be just my eyes tricking me. But you've got this flowing from right to left. You've got it up here too, but we can still see the sun.
Yeah, it's almost like if that were a river, it's flowing right to left.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it looks like to me.
I think it would be interesting if you want the other images that I sent you in Discord of that horizon that had we could possibly see some comparisons to that.
Okay.
Like I sent you those like 4 or 5 shots of the Gina platform from a higher elevation.
Yeah, sure. Let me pop.
Okay, so right now, the question is, pause it.
Okay.
So my question is, why is that image showing up at that point? It wasn't there before. If you go back a couple seconds or, 5-10 seconds or whatever, when it's not there, and then all of a sudden it starts to appear there. So
what do you mean?
That's
what appears there? Like this bottom part that's disconnected from the sun up here?
go back to where there's nothing below the sun but the darkness. Yep. Okay, right. So there's nothing there.
Okay.
And then right there.
Yeah, it just appears. Yeah, what caused that to at that time appear? Right
Remember
there?
now, that's supposed to be refracted light. The sun is supposed to have already set, and now you're getting that mirroring of refracted light. It's not possible.
Right. Yeah, it's supposed to be over the like, what is it, half a degree, or how much do they say it's already down when we can't see it? I can't remember how much, but
It's like almost half the sun, though.
okay.
Third of the sun, or something like that.
Something like that. Okay.
I posted those glare pictures of the glare obstructing the bridge, and then when it's not glare, it's not obstructing the bridge. It's pretty cool looking, but it's just sun glare doing it.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, I'll bring that up in a minute. Yeah, that's pretty neat, that mushroom shape that it makes too.
I got a good mushroom picture. Shout out to Bev. He's got a good one. I've got several, but he's posted a good one. I'll post too. You can bring that up. But Travis, do you have me unmuted?
Yeah, I can hear you. I didn't mute you at all. I was just teasing.
see the flow of the atmosphere?
Yeah.
You see that flow? That has nothing to do with the way the water is moving. Have you ever noticed that?
I know that. Yeah, absolutely.
So I brought that up a year ago, and if you want to call it ether band or whatever you want to call it, it's fine with me. But that flow right there is the atmospheric flow, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You see it in every video, especially when you zoom out. You get this shimmering, flowing motion. Usually in my where I live, it's right to left. I'd have to go back and look at my videos, but I think it's always right to left.
So if I showed
the higher you get,
I don't know, but no matter what direction I'm shooting, it's usually right to left for whatever reason.
I had a point to make if y'all could hear me.
Yeah,
go ahead, Travis.
Okay, just real quick. So if I were to just show this still, like if I had this in a still image and showed this to someone, their first, I believe, mine, I suppose, would be to say that is still the sun that we're looking at. If they didn't know what happened before and that's all that they were seeing, they would think that they're still seeing the sunset.
I got an explanation here.
Yeah, go ahead.
With me, but all right. So I mentioned this for a second the other night. So so we're considering obviously a flat Earth. Let's consider that Rumpus's rules, not every aspect of them, but his rules on refraction, mainstream concept is accurate. But here's the difference. Okay, so the first difference would be that the things, the light bending down in toward the denser median. I agree with that, and objects appear higher. So that's happening, but that'd be what y'all call proximate looming. Like it's on days where there's more blockage, and some days on days that there's more blockage. We're getting that effect, but we're getting it with the closer objects to the ones far away to create blockage. But with the sunset now,
I think you just cut it.
Damn. How about now?
Yep.
Okay. So. Okay.
No, you're roboting.
Something like. Try and rejoin.
Okay. Damn poor cell connections.
Brandon, you want to pull up one or two of those pictures, and I'll be done.
Yeah, let me get them. You put them in general, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me bring those up. Oh, cool. Okay. Let me drag it over. I should still be sharing in the Discord. There you go.
That's my wintertime sunset under the bridge, and I have videos of it, like, you know, coming from the top of the bridge and going by the pylons and going underneath, you know, in between the two pylons. You can clearly tell it's going left to right as it goes away. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So here, let me bring them all up, and then we can thumb.
Even in that picture, you can tell the higher it is, the more left it is in the sky.
There's a higher one.
See the bridge being obstructed by the glare, and the truck driving over the bridge is obstructed.
Did you just push my chair?
Yeah, it almost looks like the sun is in front of the bridge.
Yeah, it's just the glare of the sun, right? I guess it's coming off the camera lens. I mean, I don't know how that works exactly. Maybe the camera lens, but the glare is ahead of the bridge, obstructing the bridge.
It's the flamingo's chair.
No, it's my chair.
It's the
Bob Dole,
flamingo's
go
chair.
on mute.
You see what I'm saying? It's just the glare in front of the bridge.
Already.
Let's bring
You
up
wanna
Bob.
play something with me
Here,
tonight?
let me mute him real quick here. Sorry about that. There we go.
And just notice the position of the bridge. That bridge is basically, you know, to my west. But in the wintertime, it sets under this bridge, and in the summertime, it sets way to the right. Like when I'm filming sunsets in the summertime, you can't even see this bridge. And this is about midway over the bridge.
Okay, so this is what I thought I heard when Rakia started talking about this. If he shows an image where the sun starts to reflect on the water, right? That's what I think is happening in my image. That is, the sun is getting far enough away so that that degree of angle produces the reflection at that point. Because you don't have a reflection on the water, you know, right now. But are you going to show us another one where the sun's lower and you do?
Well, I can show you. Yeah, if I zoom out, it depends on. See, like that, you don't even have a reflection there. But if I zoom out, the reflection comes to me. I think that has a lot to do with the focal length. You know,
Probably the distance you're seeing too. You're seeing this stuff go behind stuff in the foreground too. There's land in between you and the water and the sun.
Of course.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Houston is over there.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? There's major cities in the way of me in that direction. You know, you understand. I mean, there's however many thousands of miles between me and the sun right there. So how many big buildings or whatever, but that's not how we view it. It projects, or lack of better terms, it's only obstructed by what's in your immediate area. As it goes away from you, you know, it just appears to go down. And that's just all due because of the angle of the viewer and the object that you're viewing. It's just angle. But that glare is pretty cool. I watched this video the other day, and that's the first time I had noticed it. And when y'all brought that glare up a while ago, obstructing something, it just reminded me. The glare obstructs things, but we know the sun is, you know, behind that bridge. You can kind of see it kind of starting to obstruct it right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right.
I contend that what we see as the sun is mostly glare. The black holes we see on it, they're not actually black. They're light, they're white, but they're less intense, so they appear
White light.
black. It's
Yep,
a weird
agree.
phenomena.
Yeah.
I
Hey,
agree
so
with that. This is not the actual sun that we're seeing. This is what we're
Right.
seeing because
Yeah.
of the atmosphere and angle and all that.
Yeah. So look, if you were to make a perfect circle in the same shape as that sun, that part, can you see how that part on the left,
By the pole?
diameter,
Yeah.
the diameter doesn't match up. It's wonky.
On the left of the pole is different.
Yeah.
It's just distortion because of the pole or the glare or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all kind of weird stuff, but you can just use, a little bit of thought process and thinking of a actual light source, a physical light source that much further away, but projecting this, like I said, for a lack of better terms, to you as the viewer in this case.
What's that? I missed that.
There's still a lot of background noise on mine. Like, I don't know if it's the same person or not, but
Yeah, I think Bob's got his mic open.
No, it's not. It might be from mine. You guys are hearing quite a bit, or what? My daughter was just talking to me. Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. No problem. It's just I didn't know if you wanted to. I didn't know if it was Bob again, but
This is our time. This is our.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think this is the physical sun. I think this is an apparent view of what the sun actually is, and the size and the shape and all that changes. To me, it could be a pinpoint somewhere in the distance projecting this, through the atmosphere.
Yeah, well,
who knows?
Yeah, the one thing that I'm going to try to do in January when I go back to California, because I've got 2 cameras now, is I'm going to get a solar filter for the one and have both cameras side by side filming the same sunset. So we'll have the glare, and then we can have the image.
That's pretty cool. You want to bring up that mushroom picture?
Yeah, that'd be really neat, Travis. That's a good idea to see it next to each other, because there's been a lot said about what the filters do. Yeah, so this one seems more elongated than Travis's. Know what I mean?
That's not mine. I have several like this, but that's Bev. Bev posted that. I'm not sure. I think he took it, actually, him and his son, or lad, or whatever he calls it. But beautiful picture, man. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, so what I would be interested in is seeing the video source of this, if he took a video, or, if he has a development of this, because this is, okay, so imagine that this is the same phenomenon as my image. So then the top image is the source, and the bottom image is a reflection. We just have a larger presentation of that, whereas mine was a more acute angle. But to me, it's the exact same phenomenon, just with a larger image.
Posted one more, Brandon, if you want to bring it up. It's what I call the keyhole effect. I have a video of this on my channel, but it's where the sun takes the shape of a keyhole, and if you look through it like the old doors that had, those keys you could take out and look through the keyhole to the other side of the room. Now just look through the sun right there, and it looks like that cloud is land. The bottom portion would be the water, and the more yellow part would be the sky. So we call that the keyhole effect.
Okay, yeah, I see that.
It took me a year to get this, and then I got another shot of it a week later. It's not very hard to get. It just took me a while because I have to be somewhere where I can see sunrise. I'm in Florida 2 months out of the year where I can see sunrises, so it took me a little while to get it, but it happens quite a lot. But it's based on atmospheric conditions, that changes the shape of the sun depending on that density layer at the bottom and whatever it may be. But it's a well-known phenomenon called the keyhole effect.
Okay. That's the official name. That's pretty neat. You can even see a lot of atmosphere in front of the sun too, with these dark areas here. I assume those are clouds or whatever.
Yeah, if you go on my channel and watch the video, you can see, because I zoom in and out, you can see the conditions and how nice it was. You can see the whole thing coming up and the effect. And another cool effect is called dripping, is when it gets a little higher in the sky, those two things separate and the sun looks like it's dripping molten lava out of it.
Oh, cool.
I don't know if you want to. I don't know if I can't even post that full video here. It's 4 minutes long or whatever, but it's on my channel if anybody wants to see it. It's a cool dripping effect. Once those two sections separate, they kind of drip apart. Really
and that's
neat.
that's a sunrise.
Yeah, that's sunrise there. That effect, to my knowledge, doesn't happen on sunset. I've never seen it on sunset.
Which one doesn't happen on sunset?
The keyhole.
Really? So that's just a sunrise phenomena. That's interesting.
As far as I know. Now, I'm not going to state that as fact. I'm just saying all the ones that I've seen, all the ones that I've taken and heard of have been sunrise.
Well, that'd be interesting too, to see how the phenomena is at sunrise and sunset differ. The only problem is you can't look out over the same area and see it, obviously. But from one coast to another, might be interesting to compare.
Yeah, I'd love to know, like, take a video of that sunrise, right? And that effect is happening, to have someone experiencing their sunset at the same time, having a video taken and compare them. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be cool.
I think that might be
Obviously,
possible from the UK to the United States. I'm not sure. There's like 5 hours difference.
Obviously, it's going to be different, right? Because the conditions are different. And that's what we're stating, that the conditions are determining what you're seeing. Not a physical blockage or, whatever.
Yeah.
So their view, their angle, their everything is going to be different. Their conditions are going to be different. So their view of what they're seeing is going to be different. Their effects is going to be totally different. That's kind of how the moon, it appears to follow you. The sun does the same thing with its rays, but you can tell the moon is doing it because you can stare at it longer. So when you're in a car or whatever, we all did that. The moon just appears to be following you. And as you go and pass clouds, those clouds light up for you. But at other angles of other people looking at the moon, their clouds are lit up. That's why I think it's not a physical light right there. I think it's an apparent light. It's being projected. So the angle of that light, the light source, the actual light source may be, so many degrees off and shining through whatever, the atmosphere or whatever it's shining through, projecting that light to you and lighting up just the clouds that are in between you and that angle. So it's strange because clouds right off to the side are not lit up,
Yeah, this one's wild because with those clouds in front like that, not being able to see the water, I mean, it looks like it's all, that does look like a hard geometric edge in this picture. This sunset video, you've got sunset offshore.
The offshore videos are, I don't share a lot of them because my family are in them, but the ones that I'm by myself or whatever, they're crazy, bro, because there's nothing around, right? There's no buildings, there's no other excuses.
Right.
You usually get a longer view,
It really is a beautiful video, though. I think I've watched that a few times already.
Yeah, it's cool.
Tell
me those clouds, of course those clouds aren't that far away, but the sun looks right there, right? It's just projecting itself towards you. It's being magnified or zoomed towards you.
Yeah, it looks like it's just atmosphere. Right there.
Yeah, I'll post one where the sun looks really close, watch. It's just the conditions of the day.
I was just looking at timeanddate.com to see where on a coast you could have sunset and sunrise at the same time and have dueling observations. Let's play around with this for a minute. Because we've got a lot of people all over. I'm sure this has been done before, but looks like it's too much of a gap to look at the sun the same time. Let's see here. New Zealand, maybe, as sunrise. At the same time, South America has sunset. Pretty close.
Try South Africa to Australia, Brandon, because flat's zero. South Africa, you might be able to do something. One of us over here.
All right, let me put it forward an hour. That might line up. That's pretty close. Pretty close is, yeah, South America down in like Argentina and Australia. But it's maybe an hour off. Let me see where else.
Yeah, the time zones are going to be different, but that doesn't matter. The sun is where it's at.
South Africa, not South America. Try South Africa.
Oh, South Africa. Yeah, I don't think that's gonna work, but I can try.
Yeah, I think it might. There's about 9 hours between us.
South Africa and Australia. It'd be noon for you when South Africa sunset. Close to it.
Yeah.
That's
Tough to do, but there is a way.
Yeah, I'm just looking for two locations where you could both look out over the ocean and both be looking at sunrise, sunset. Oh, one day, that's not going to do much good.
I posted that
You
last.
might have to go to Hawaii.
Oh, Hawaii. We know someone in Hawaii. Let's see. Hawaii and the UK. Look at that, Travis. Good call. Hawaii and the UK. We definitely have people in both those places. And you could watch the same sunrise and sunset over the ocean. There's an idea for you, B-Ball, if you're out there.
I posted that last picture of the sun appearing to be really, really close. And it's just an appearance. I don't get it all the time. Depends on the conditions. And that's sunset in the summertime. I have several like this over 2 different years. 2 different summers that I took these pictures where the sun just was like magnified really close, zoomed right in.
Now, does it not look like it's nestled into the clouds right there?
I have more like ones that look even worse than that, or more nestled in the clouds. But that's why I say it's just a projected light. I mean, how could you get that if that sun is so far away?
It's got to be just over, yeah. Because look at how big that would be over, say,
Right.
Just compare it to like these trees on the horizon.
Right.
It'd be like just this towering mass. So it obviously, as it goes to a distance, kind of looks different, or looks different from where your location is.
I mean, like I said, I take these. A lot of my sunsets are from the same spot, like the exact same spot, same pier at my marina. Because I don't get a sunset when we go to Florida. I don't get sunsets. I only get sunrises at the spot we're in Florida.
Okay.
So all my sunsets are going to be at where I go, my marina, and then all the sunrises are going to be in Florida for me. Unless I'm on vacation or something, Key West, you can get both.
Oh my gosh, Ricky. Living in Florida, driving your boat around. Holy shit.
Worked hard for that, man. Nothing was given to me. I've worked my whole life to get where I'm at.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
That's why I'm getting a massage, because my body is broke down. You agree, Lacey?
Totally.
Oh yeah.
Are you a flat earther, Lacey?
No.
Flat or round, Lacey?
Round.
Huh?
You haven't convinced me yet.
What about people at your work? Are they flat earthers?
I have one flat earther.
One? She got one flat earther at her work.
Well, that's cool. They're out there.
Yeah. She's not very smart, though. She thinks it's round. She's cool.
That's cool. I did want to mention that, this band that we see, this ether band, on that sunset video from Travis and the other ones, this looks a lot like this phenomena that we saw in Pete the Great's video with the light, where the light blinks out. Obviously, this light isn't setting in this picture, but it is just purely the atmosphere that is blocking the bottom of these boats and completely blocking that light right there. So there's the light, nice and bright, and it's just blinks out and is completely covered. Does it disappear from the bottom up, or is it just kind of all around it? The boats definitely disappear from the bottom up because you see less red as time goes on. You guys see that? Well, out to lunch. There, the light's gone. And this light's gone for a good 30 seconds almost. Just from opening the door and letting cold air into this about 68 Fahrenheit building. There's nothing in blocking. This isn't the floor. This isn't whatever other excuse you want to try to come up with. This is just purely the atmospherics blocking it.
You can even see the shimmering effects that we see in real, like that we see when we video elsewhere, not in a building. It's just temperature variations and downdrafts and whatever it may be. Moisture, pressure differences, moisture differences are the combination of all of them creating this.
Yeah.
I don't think you can rule out any of it.
It's hard for people to wrap their mind around, because I know it was for me, that essentially nothing is blocking it, right? It's just the atmosphere. But once you review a lot of these observations that Travis and Ranty you see these phenomena. Dave, you take your own photos and videos, do your own observations. So you start to see this. This is not an uncommon phenomena at all.
Yeah, I put out a video last week or so shooting the Chesapeake Bay where I showed the footage from 6 o'clock in the morning until 10 o'clock in the morning, and there are times when Derek is flashing his light and we can't see it, and he's standing in front of the lighthouse. And then he climbs up. He's standing in front of the lighthouse at ground level. He flashes the light, can't see it. So then he stands up on top of the cannon, and you can see him come out of the band. And then he flashes, and you can see it. But you can't see the cannon. But he's standing on it, so he's high enough, and then you see a black smudge. But then, 4 hours later, you can see the cannon. So it's the reverse, the instead of the light extinguishing, instead of the medium extinguishing the light, the medium is allowing the object to develop through it.
I think a lot of that is the angle of the light source too, from where the viewer is. It's not just the medium, it's the angle of the light hitting the medium and then reflecting back to the viewer. It's just a combination of everything.
Sure. Yeah, but the difficulty with that, and I agree with you. The difficulty with that is that you can't control that one variable. Well, I mean, not that you can control the other ones either, but that one in particular is one that's definitely, because if you go back at a different season at the same time in the morning or the evening, because the sun's going to be in a completely different spot. But anyway.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, but when you go in the same season, within the same week, and you go set up in the same spot, same elevation, shooting the same distance away at the same objects, and you get different results, I mean, what else can you say? You know what I'm saying? It's definitely the medium that you're looking for.
That's exactly what happened with me. I was going out same time, taking the same shots. Yep.
Is that worth bringing up, Travis? that observation that you just talked about?
The one with the lighthouse and whatnot.
Yeah.
I mean, I sent you a minute and a half video on the sunset. What Rakia showed us with the sun and the clouds just reminded me of one that I just put up. It's nothing outstandingly spectacular, but it was just something. But I'll look for which video that is, and I'll post.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just playing this one more time. I did sharpen this video. It's pretty dang sharp. You can see the boats, and I close up. I had gotten some complaints that people weren't trying to dodge my questions when I was trying to pin them down on this yesterday, that they just couldn't see it. It was pretty small. So here it is sharpened. The door's going to open. Clearly make out all the details here, the light. And it's going to close, and it's going to disappear. So I try to imagine what this would look like on a huge scale, with not just a temporary influx of that cold air, but a constant supply of the cold air, and increasing cold as the sun goes away, and what that would effect that would have. Obviously, I think it would be more than a couple centimeters, and this is at a shorter distance, but at a long distance, does this effect compound? And say that this has a height of two centimeters off the ground, that this effect conceals what's behind it. Travis, you've mentioned a few times that as you get further away, that mirage, that mirroring band, increases in height. Did I hear you correctly before when you said that?
I believe so, if I understand what you said, yeah. Either way, it affects it, yeah.
Yeah, like this mirroring band kind of slopes off from the viewer. Here, I'll just draw a quick little picture to describe what I'm saying. That usually helps.
I mean, just for the common person watching that is from a very short distance over a very controlled atmosphere. Think about looking 10 miles over a dynamic atmosphere. The effects that could be happening, or the effects that are happening, is unfathomable. I mean, you can't put pen and paper to it. People who try and tell you that they can, you can just slap them in the face with it, because there's no way they can. No way possible.
Let's say that that mirroring starts on here, the way I kind of envision it in my mind, and there is some, observational evidence of this, is, let's say this blue represents the mirroring line. So here's our observer over here on the left. He's looking out, and because of whatever atmospherics there are that are causing it, whatever is behind this blue line is concealed. So I'll just make a boat and put it in here. Let's say there's a boat riding on the water here, and it's here. This portion of the bottom would be concealed. I'm not saying this is how it works for sure. I'm saying lead me to believe that this is a plausible hypothesis for how this works in general, just very roughly. If it's back here, even more of it would be hidden, not to mention, there's the angular size reduction as you go away and all that other things. But this band or this atmospheric mirroring effect kind of slopes up away from you.
Yeah, that's what I would approximate.
Yeah, so then you'll see this mirrored in this layer right here, just like we do in the Pete the Great video. That's another idea for you, Pete, if you're listening, is maybe place another target like here, maybe at 3 different distances, and see what the impact is on them. That might be interesting. He's looking for ideas. Pete is doing some fantastic observations, and he's got access to this huge building to do this in, which is uncommon. That's cool. I did get a super chat from Taking Back Eden FE. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. LOL, Brandon. Valid points and questions, in my honest opinion. Thank you very much. So, anyway. Yeah, I just wanted to look at that. And then, Travis, did you say you put something else out there that might be good to look at?
Yeah, I put two things in. The first one is a sunset that just has just an interesting dynamic with the nimbus clouds. And then I found the Chesapeake footage with the different hours of the morning with the Lighthouse operation.
Okay. I'm playing the Nimbus Clouds one right now. Yeah. Oh, this is your observation, Travis? You took this video? You there? Hello? Can anybody hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're roboting a little bit, but I got you.
Yeah, your video is breaking up too. It's like square, it's cutting it in squares.
Oh, okay. Let me share it again.
While you're doing that, I'll say before I started doing my own observations, I couldn't understand when people were trying to explain these phenomena. I couldn't understand it at all. Until I went out and started doing my own is when I could understand it. So I encourage everyone to get out there and do their own. Don't trust anyone, you know, and then you can understand what we're trying to say more readily.
Oh,
Helped
wow.
me for sure.
Yeah, I agree. It is a whole different thing to get out there and see it with your own eyes. That's wild, man. It looks like it's just sitting up there in the middle of the fog, doesn't it? Or the haze. You can see that on all three sides, like it's just sitting up there in it. I suppose that's what it looked like if it was just shining through though too, but that's wild. When you guys look at the sun, I mean, just honestly, I thought this before I was into flat earth. When you guys look at the sun, does it look like it's a really, really long way, like 93 million miles? Or does it look to you like it's just right up there close to the earth?
I never thought it was that far. I never knew how far it was. And when they told me it was 93 million, I was like, there's no way I could, you know, you're seeing it, you know, but I understand how it could be certain mediums, you know, if it's so big and so bright, how it would show. But to me, everything I've discovered, I think it's a projected light. I don't think that's the actual sun.
Yeah.
Could be 100% wrong. I mean, you know, we're easily fooled by these illusions or, you know, what we're seeing in the sky, but that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, me too. It just seems like it's local to me. It's pretty neat. Neat shot there, Travis. You took that?
Yeah, I had problems with Discord, so I didn't know what was going on, but no worries. Yeah, that was me.
Well, it looks out of focus. No, I'm just kidding. Looks good, man. And then you put another link in there, which is the Chesapeake Bay footage that you were talking about with the lighthouse.
Yeah, I mean, if you just want to slide the timeline up and down, you can just see different things. You know, you keep like right there, for instance, that's really early in the morning, and you can see it. Okay, so back up before you see the light.
I want to point one thing out on this before we go on. There's that hard line that we see sometimes in front of ships that's claimed to be the geometric horizon, but you can clearly see this is mirroring for quite a ways here.
Yeah.
Sorry if I stole your thunder there. Let me...
No, that's all part of it. I mean, we all need to keep saying this shit.
Okay, there we go. I went back like 3 or 4 minutes. What's that lighthouse sitting? I take it that the shape of that lighthouse is not diamond shaped like we're seeing it, right?
Right, exactly. So then you've got to cut that. Okay, stop it right there. Okay, so you can see the reflection of the window at the water, right above the water's edge. Right, you see that dark little.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you go, I would say you would have to cut that lighthouse into 2/3 and 1/3. So the top 2/3 is the physical, or what all of the professionals say, the erect image, the physical image, and then what's below it is the mirage. So if you put a line at that spot, that's ground level, right?
Okay.
So just to the left of that, right where the diamond obtuse angle would be, that's where the cannon is. There's a cannon there that you cannot see because of what, I don't know, internal reflection, whatever.
Gotcha. And you had somebody over there on the other side, I think you said?
Yeah. Derek O'Hara was the mirror and flashlight guy, and then Bombaclack Gatofish was on the shore with his P900 trying to find me. But where I was directly in the sunrise, so it was hard for him for a couple of hours to even see me. But at the end of this video, this is a pretty good video. You guys should, if you have the time to do it, you should watch it. But at the end of the video, you can see me on the shoreline waving my hands. And so you've got a direct line of sight straight across, 5.85 miles. But at some point, if you push play or whatever, I think that's when you can see Derek, keep your eye on that spot. You'll see a black smudge, and then you'll see the flash.
Yeah, that's ground. Okay, so you pointed out, yeah, about right there, huh? You think?
Yeah.
So that's quite a bit above that horizon that is just not there, that is mirrored.
Right, and then if you could wipe away that mirage, you would see the water extend into the distance. Although the conditions of the day, that water is doing its own shit. There's stuff going on in the foreground that's different than what's going on in the background.
By that you mean there are different conditions, different pressure? Or...
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's wild. Now, does Andrew Thomas Young or the other gentleman you mentioned from early in the last century, do they talk about this mirrored layer and how it functions? What was their hypothesis to how it operated?
I'm not sure I understand exactly your question.
What I was kind of trying to sketch out in this diagram, did they ever, the one with the blue line and the red line? Did they ever describe that?
Yeah, no. As far as I know, those things that you and I and everybody else are talking about, they're not asking those questions, and that's part of the investigation that I think is deficient.
It's almost like it's avoided.
It could be. Could very well be.
Even when we bring it up today and show obvious effects that are going on like that, it's downgraded or it's quickly dismissed.
Yeah, first it doesn't exist.
I know what happens.
Wait.
I mean, it's.
Oh, is that him? Yeah, right there.
Yeah, but back up because you can see the black smudge before he flashes the light.
Okay, I'll start it that was like 30 seconds after this, I think. So we'll have a few seconds before. So just watch the lighthouse in the center. Let me make it bigger for the audience.
I think I slow the frame rate down, to normal.
Okay.
Just keep your eye right there to the left.
To the left of the white lighthouse.
Yeah, you'll see him climb up. It was crazy.
He climbed up the side of the lighthouse?
No. There's a cannon in front of it, like a 3-foot cannon.
Okay. Gotcha.
So he climbed up to stand on it. There he goes.
Wow. How about that? There it is, right there. Was that like a 3-foot mirror, or what did he have over there?
No, that I'm not sure if that was the mirror or not. It could have been.
Because it seems like it's tall.
Well, that's just going to be the refraction.
Okay, makes sense.
But I think from that day, I went out and bought a cheap mirror. I think it was just like a 2x2, maybe 3x3.
Okay, 3x3 mirror. Gotcha.
Okay, so if you want to just slide the scale up, then later on, I think it may be like 13 minutes.
All right, I'll do that. There was a bird that I saw that.
Yeah, there was a big eagle. I think it was a bald eagle.
Look at that. Oh, it's a bald eagle. Look at that thing.
As it comes from the left, it really gets distorted, but as it goes in front of the lighthouse, you can clearly see it.
Yeah. Okay.
Man, I think I finally got my issues fixed, man. Am I coming in clear yet?
You are clear. I might actually have to turn you down. I think you sound pretty decent, but I am hearing an echo.
Okay, hold on. Let me see. I just wanted to say what I was trying to say earlier.
Yeah, go ahead, Brian.
Okay, what I was saying is that okay, so the proximate looming, okay, so maybe the refraction is happening the way that they're saying that it's happening, but it's just proximate, and we're getting looming in the foreground instead of so much in the background. But as far as the sun setting now, the way the sun sets is there's a gradient, right? It gets colder as you go higher, and when you hit about 40 or 50,000 feet, that's when pressure ain't really playing much of a part at all. It's pretty much down just about as low as it's going to go. So they can't say that pressure, it's going to go toward the pressure, because the pressure change at that point is minuscule, but the temperature goes up. So, I mean, I've seen it go up. I've seen it go from -80 to about 32 to positive 32 Fahrenheit. But they say it goes up to like a couple thousand degrees in the in the upper atmosphere. And the point being is that if the refraction could work the way they say it does, but on a flat Earth, it would be going toward the denser median as far as colder, and that would be a upward. I mean, what I'm saying is I'm trying to get people to think on this, because in other words, the light is going it's going up, but it's making it look. I mean, it's going down. Anyway, I'm having trouble.
Just stop. You sounded as crazy as they.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let me end it with this then. My point is that the temperature change is causing the refraction, making the sun over long distance. That temperature change is causing the refraction over a long distance. It's making the sun set. And here's my last point. Okay, that spot where the temperature goes from -80 and then it starts to level out, that little zone is like a focal point, right? And that's what makes us see the sun, like in front of bridges, in front of clouds and all that. Right there, about 8 miles away, 8 to maybe about 7 to 10 miles away, is a focal point, and that's the sun that we see. And that's why we see it in front of trees and shit, and in front of clouds, but just something to think on.
So you think the image of the sun that we see is 8 to 10 miles away? I'm trying to understand what you're saying.
Yeah, well, the focal point, man. It's like a focal point when it's at the right angle and you have stuff right there. It's a focal point for everybody. Everybody has their own pretty much focal spot, man. And it feels like that. It feels like a damn magnifying glass sometimes, especially in the summer. But yeah, you know how you see pictures of the clouds in front of the sun, and then you see birds flying through and jets flying through, and it makes that little splatter. It's just like a focal point where, right where that inversion is, where the temperature goes from cold to starting to warm up. There's a little zone. Check the weather. How the balloon, there's a little zone of inversion, and that to me is like where the main focal point is, because when the balloons get up higher than that point right there, it's you start the sun stretching out, the glare is way worse, and it looks just out of focus. You know, it's just like you take a Fresnel lens, is spot lens. It has a little point spot that's a lot hotter, and then you have the Fresnel lenses when it's out of focus. It's like linear, so it's just it ain't a big line, but it's just a little bit stretched. It's not quite a perfect point, and it's not as hot. You know. Anyway, just something to think on, because it would besides all that, it would make sense with the refraction of the temperature change. It would be an inversion, and that could make the sun appear, you know, set over distance with the temperature change.
Okay. Yeah. Interesting thoughts, Brian.
Okay. Yeah, interesting thoughts, Brian.
I wish I could put it into words better, but the point is that the way the pressure is on the ground, Rumpus says that the light refracts upwards or downward, and that the light reflects downwards, and it's making it appear higher. Well, there's an inversion. There's an inversion at about 50,000 feet, where instead of getting colder as we go up, it starts to get warmer. There's that one spot, and it's you know, it's a few mile zone where instead of getting colder the higher you get, it starts getting warmer. That's about it. I'm gonna try and put it together where I can word it better.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, I hear you.
Brandon, you sow!
I didn't mean to forget about you, Bob.
Authority!
I'm sorry.
No, did I say anything ridiculous or embarrassing while I was
Yeah.
realizing my mic was open?
Yeah, it was crazy.
No, we just
Did I tell
heard.
everybody all my secrets?
No.
Yeah.
We just heard your kids for a minute.
We just heard your kid for a minute.
Oh,
Oh man, one more thing. I gotta
my
go. One more thing.
God.
Oh my.
I know, right? One more thing. I wanted to say the pressure, actually, where it starts to warm up in that little zone, the pressure starts to go up a little bit. It ain't much, but it is an invert. The pressure does start to go up the higher you get, and that's what I mean. I mean. I left that out. That's probably the most important thing. Where the temperature starts going up, the pressure also goes up a little bit in that zone. So that could. I'm trying to figure out how the sun works. You know, there's got to be an explanation. So maybe that's it. We got to think on it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
All right, so just real quick, I just thought of something. You can see to the left of the lighthouse, you see that vertical line, that white vertical line?
Yeah.
That's a flagpole.
Oh wow! Look at how
Okay.
distorted that is. Yeah.
Okay, but if you just look at that image, it looks like it goes all the way down to the water.
Yes.
Okay, but that's not reality. Okay, so you do the 2/3, 1/3. So 1/3 the distance up from the water line. That's the ground level of the flagpole, but you cannot see the ground. Okay, can't see the ground. Now, at some point in the video, I stop and take a still shot because on the water is a catamaran, and all you can see is the mast. Okay, and it looks like if you knew that was a mast, well, where's the boat? Well, it's behind the curve. But at the end of the video, you can see the whole catamaran.
Oh, this is what B-Ball was posting the other day, isn't it?
No, that was a different video. No, because I just did that video like 2 days ago. This one's from last week.
Okay.
Okay, so what you're seeing right here, right now, that shot on the left is Bombaclat. That's his footage of the same boat. So the boat that I have on the right is in an inferior Mirage for me. And the boat that you see on the left is just 100 yards offshore. Okay, so that's basically the full 5.85 miles. Okay?
Yep.
And then I put I play them side by side, and then you can see the. So if you think about this, he doesn't have an inferior Mirage at a distance for him. If he was shooting across the water, he would not have the same effect as I do. We wouldn't be looking through the same result.
Is he looking the opposite way in this footage as you, or is this the same day?
Yeah, it's the same day. That's the same boat. So once I get to the
He's directly across, right? He's directly across at the lighthouse, correct?
no. He is probably about he's probably about
to the
I would
left
say,
of the lighthouse.
Yeah, but I would say he's probably about maybe 600 meters.
Roughly the same distance from you, though, right?
What do you mean?
He's the same. You're 5-6 miles away from where he's at.
Oh, okay. He's the same distance away from me.
I mean, he's across the lake, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Okay.
Yeah, but you're a lot further from the boat than he is, obviously.
Yeah. He's close to the boat.
Yeah.
So that boat for Travis is in the Mirage layer and not for him. But you said later on you can see the boat, Travis? You got that?
Not this boat. This boat is moving and it moves off and continues to go. But in the shot, as I'm going back and forth, I figured out that the mast that I was seeing was a catamaran. And so then I point that out in the video later on. So the boat that we're looking at right now is a sailboat. It's not a catamaran. So we're talking about two different observations.
I got you.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay.
There it is, right there. That's it.
Oops. This one right here. And then right here, you've got some analysis that you do in this video.
Yeah, but that's not from the catamaran part. Try to go back. Right there, maybe. Yeah. That's the catamaran mast.
Gotcha.
Okay, so if you think about that in the same way, and the catamaran is the same setup. It's to the right of where they were shooting, but the same distance basically. It was about 100 yards offshore. But if you think about that in the same way that the flagpole was, that flagpole, that's not a solid flagpole all the way down to the water. You can actually see the Mirage in that image there.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
Okay, so where's the catamaran? It's right there, behind the Mirage, right at that spot. And then later on in the video, if you want to go all the way to the end of the video and not spend any more time on it, that's fine. I think you can see the catamaran. It has its sail open.
All right, let me see where it is. It's right at the end, or what?
Somewhere around there. I think that's too far. That's gonna show me on the beach waving my arms. So maybe go. Oh, there it is, right there. There it is.
Oh, that's what we were looking at before. Okay, yeah. So just the boat part of itself. Maybe a little bit of the mast was what was behind the Mirage. Huh. Well, that's pretty cool. All right, guys. Well, it's about 10 to 8.
No. Can I finalize that? Travis, the only thing that changed, your viewer height, your distance, nothing else changed, just the time of day, correct?
And the position of the sun, yep.
Oh,
yep,
thank you for clarifying that. I didn't pick up on that. Okay, so this is from the same location.
Same viewer height, same shot, same camera, same man doing it. The only thing that changed was the atmosphere and the angle of the light.
Yeah, you don't see hardly any of miraging here. At least not at the distance the boat is. Interesting.
I mean, there's always something going on, right? There's always distortion over distance.
Yeah.
But you're not getting that where is this looming? You know what I'm saying? You're seeing it. So why are you seeing it?
Oh, the other thing I was going to say, if you go to 13 minutes, you can see, I think you can see the cannon.
The cannon by the lighthouse?
Yeah. Is that at 13 minutes?
It was when I started, yeah.
maybe it was a different video. I'm remembering 13 minutes. Just fast forward. You'll see it.
Maybe it's in this shot. It's close up. No.
No, but you can see. Look how much brighter it is. You can see the flagpole a little bit more.
Oh, yep.
Ground level again.
See the angle of the light right there. The light is shining straight on it. So you're getting a better reflection. Back to you. Look at the flagpole. You can see the flag now.
Yeah, that's a lot clearer, for sure. Okay, wow, look at that. Is this where the cannon is, Travis? Somewhere
Should
in
be
here?
where the cannon is there.
Yeah, that little tiny doorway-looking thing at the very base on the left. Yeah.
This thing? Okay. Gotcha. All
So
right.
this is what I was talking about with Ruhif the other day. I was like, look, I've got these shots. You tell me what you think the angular size of this lighthouse is going to be, man. Tell me that.
Yeah.
Did he
Yes,
accept
sir.
that challenge?
Not in the show. He didn't know. I don't think so.
Okay. Anyway, all right. Well, let's wrap it up here. It's almost 8 o'clock. I'm gonna give final thoughts. We'll start with Bob since he was on mute for so long. My mistake, Bob. You got final thoughts for the night?
No, not really. Nothing specific or in particular.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks, Bob. SE? Rikia.
Yeah, oh, you got cut off. Can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead, Effie.
Sorry, man. Sorry. Yeah, look, I'll try not to be too convoluted, but when you and Rakia were talking earlier about the sun, you know, small and local, made me think. Yeah, I think it's small and local as well. And then also, we're told that we're spinning at 1,000 miles an hour, and yet it feels like we're stationary. And if I look out across the ocean, it just looks flat, but we're told it's not flat. It starts to curve away at about 3 miles. So I've got two final thoughts. The first one is for people who profess to be of some kind of faith in a creator. Okay, and the thought to them is, if that's the case, then your creator has put you and created you and put you in a reality which immerses you in falsehood and deception all day, every day. Is that the nature of your creator, where he puts you somewhere where everywhere you turn and look? For the people who don't have faith in a creator, who are maybe agnostic or atheist, I would suggest you have a bigger issue to investigate than flat.
Cool. Thank you, Effie. You were cutting out a little, like your microphone's not picking up every word in between, but I think we heard it all though. Just to let you know, it's kind of clipping you off a little bit. Allie B.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. Thank you. Allie? No. Brian Leakey.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry that to ramble like that, but I'm trying to make sense of it. I'm just having a hard time voicing it. But I'm gonna excuse me. I'm gonna put it together and figure, because there's got to be. Here's my point. My point is that if the sun, let's just say the sun is about what trigonometry dictates, and it's about 4,000, 3,000 miles away. Okay, that doesn't work with the angular with the Rayleigh criterion and our angular perspective, right? Earlier I wanted to join in, I couldn't, when he was talking about the sun being below the horizon. You know how high up you'd be? Me and Rumpus already had that discussion, and I think it was critical. You'd have to be 69 miles away for 1 degree. So you got to think of the height of that. Point being is that on a flat Earth and a globe Earth, the horizon would be 1 degree per 69 miles. So the Rayleigh criterion is what we use for the horizon, you know, the angular cutoff point, and they use Earth curve. They both equal 1 degree per 69 miles, so that's a non-argument. The other point in it is that we got to figure out, you know, if we're trying to figure out the sun, I'm throwing out ideas because the one thing on the AE map, the sun goes around, but it doesn't throw its light equally, not quite. And so I thought, I'll back, and I mentioned it that the North Pole is real super cold, and they just pretty much came out that the cold affects light, being that they slowed down the speed of light, down like 10 meters per second. But that's super cold temperatures, but that does tell me that it does affect the light. So maybe that cold weather affects the throw of the sun's light by the North Pole and cuts it off and that would be the equalizer for why the sun ain't quite an equal throw. And then so we got to figure out now, what's the sun do? How is it setting it? Angular doesn't do it, and miraging and stuff doesn't quite do it. So we got to figure out what it is. It's got to be some type of refraction making it set. So the best explanation so far come up with is that inversion right at about between like 7 and 10 miles up, man, is where if the sun was like 4,000 miles away, then it hits a bulk of atmosphere right about that height. So that would be a good place for a focal point, and that is an inversion in pressure and temperature. So it would make the sun look lower, especially over distance. It would. So that's all I got to say. So everybody put some thought into that, man. Let's put this together and maybe do some experiments.
Sounds good. Thanks, Brian. Travis.
Yeah, I think the field is wide open for us to open up new investigations into this discussion. For so long, the rhetoric of refraction and mirages has been presented to us in a globe Earth model. But think about it as if this were a cold case, or even perhaps just some murder mystery where they thought that they had the right suspect because certain aspects of the investigation and evidence seemed to present the suspect to them, so they think they've got their guy. Well, some young investigator comes along and he sees information that no one else has seen, and he starts to look at that information and it's different. He is going to have to go up against these other established investigators that think that they put the right guy away. Think of all the conflict that's going to create, but it has to happen. This investigation, this discussion that we're having, this field is wide open for us to start talking about this stuff again, and we need to do it.
Hell yeah, I love that analogy, Travis. Aaron. Jimbo.
Good show.
Thanks, Jimbo. Howard. Okay. Dave. Or Kia.
Yeah, I'd like to say this subject isn't going away, nor do I want it to, because it does lead towards a creator. The creator that I know hates deception, fights against it. If you let him, if you let the creator, he will provide you with the truth to expose deception. Y'all have a good night.
You too, man. Sounds good. All right, my final thoughts. Good stuff. Really appreciate it. And Effie, your final thoughts made me think about, people ask me about the Southern Stars. And I say, well, I really don't know what's going on in the Southern Stars. I don't have an explanation for that. Those are the things that I'm talking about when I say that I can't ignore this firsthand evidence that I have before me, that it overpowers anything. All my entire life, the sun looks like it moves across the sky. It looks local to me. Everything, all my senses tell me it's local. Everything tells me that the earth is flat. Everything tells me that it's stationary, that I'm on a stationary plane. These things are consistent, undeniable, at least as far as my senses go, for over 40 years. So to overcome that, that's a big hurdle. Appreciate it, everybody. I'll be back. If people are going to stick around, I will record the after show. And thank you very much. Okay, thanks, everybody. Yeah, Ian Adams says camera angles is the deception. Yeah, I tend to wonder about that in that image that I took there and put the red lines across, what role that plays in there. It's interesting. Maybe it is as simple as these camera angles and just looking at things the wrong way. Because if I treated my red lines like you do the crosshairs on the theodolite, well, it does look like there's drop, right? So, I don't know. We'll have to play around with that more. More to come on that. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night. I'll be back tomorrow, 5:05 Eastern Standard Time, 10:05 GMT. You can probably hear it in my voice. I'm getting a little tired right now. I'm trying to get a good night's sleep. Hope you all do the same or have a good day wherever you're at. And I appreciate you guys watching the show and supporting the show. See you later.